Oh, he's breaking up.
I'll jump on a little bit. I'm have like all of probably 15%.
You missed all of that. You might want to tell him that he's not coming through very clearly.
Okay, is that better? Is that working or not really?
Oh, we've got you. I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay.
But you're kind of just breaking up a bit. Oh. Look at that.
I'm juggling. I'm just a juggling.
Can't hear you.
Oh. I said, how is everyone?
Going good. About to kick off the show. About to do my intro. For the masses of 3. I'm just kidding. You know, it's a big deal. I'm just glad to be alive today.
It's such a beautiful day.
Going in 5.
I think, Richie, you're going to need to find a spot and sit still.
Buckle down tight and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, December 31st, Monday, January 1st, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live to us right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find on KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. We're also on eTalk Radio, which you can find on eTalk.tv/radio. Also, if you want to listen to us on your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, look us up under We Are Paradox Media at Spreaker, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Castbox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podcast Chaser, and Podvine. We're also live on Facebook these days, as well as YouTube. If you don't mind, mosey on over to our YouTube. Please subscribe, like any video that you've listened to, and please leave us any comments, whether good or bad, and also let us know what future guests you would like us to have on. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we have the Paradox Paranormal Forum. So this evening, so far, we have Mr. Robert White from Australia. We have Ms. Jani Banani, and then we also have Richard Main. You guys, welcome, and thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us this evening.
Thank you, Tessa.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Not a problem. Nothing better to do.
Nothing better to do. So I'm picking you up over here. I'm just not picking you up on this. So you guys go ahead. Johnny, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from. What's going on for your new year?
I'm not sure if it's me, but everything's breaking up.
Oh, well, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
The wind.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We are celebrating our New Year's Day over here in New Zealand. I'm currently in New Zealand. I was from Australia myself as well, and I am a paranormal investigator, cryptic researcher, and I do a lot of the psychic medium stuff. I'm currently here in New Zealand. I just started up a business here, and I am doing the cryptic research, paranormal and cryptic research here as well. So I'm really looking forward to learning what New Zealand has to offer, and yeah, I had a really, really, really late night last night. I'm not too sure how I'm going to go today, but we'll kick on with that. Back to you, Tess.
All right, let's go on over to Richie.
Hello, everybody. Where do we start with me? I am a Reiki practitioner, hypnotherapist. Have been lucky enough to meet Jani Banani, and not only just on a really good friendship level, but also do a couple of things with her hypno-wise as well, which has been an amazing experience. Do enjoy my oracle cards and my numerology. Have also tapped into the paranormal side of things as well with Jani, so that's been an amazing opportunity to grow and learn my skill set to become stronger. I've also just started my own company, so it's called Club 33, and it's all about helping people through their ascension process. So yeah, lots of fun things to come.
Nice. Robert?
I'm just a part medium, part healer. Able to go different places in astral to help people. I can tell it's really windy over there, Richie.
Sorry.
You're right.
I literally have about maybe 5%, so I may end up dying.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, I've just been helping people, well, actually just yesterday even, to try and figure out what is on their property over in Canada. And we've determined that it's something otherworldly, but it's in this world trying to relocate stuff from Japan that it's from the times before the samurai, like the Bushido, pre-Bushido, and we're trying to work out what it is, why it's up there after it. It's something to do with bloodlines, and it's trying to gather all the pieces back up from whoever took it and take it back to now deceased bloodline, because that was its task. It was tasked after the last remaining member passed away to go and collect all these things and bring them back, because they were stolen from Japan somehow, and they're now in Canada.
Nice. Well, it's not like I'm not listening to you. I'm just trying to get this cotton picking thing to work. Ever since I started using this banana voice box, I don't know. It's just a really crazy, wonky little thing. So we can hear you on the Facebook Live, so that's good. But the Spreaker thing just ain't cutting it. It's so freaking weird. I don't get it. Really don't. So I'm trying to... There we go. Let's do this. Maybe that'll work. All right. Let's see if you guys pick up. Should be picking up the wind. But it's not picking up anything.
Right. That's why I got my hand to try and block it.
It's not picking up a cotton picking thing. Oh, let me try this real quick. And if I do this, it might make it where I can't hear you over there, but okay, I can still hear you. Now let's try this and see. All right. Sure. So what did you guys do there in the future? You guys are all already on New Year's Day. Here I am over here, New Year's Eve. How'd your New Year's Eve celebrations go?
For me, caught up with a few friends, ended up cooking barbecue, and there was vodka involved because that's my passion. Lots of music, played a couple of games of poker, won a couple, so that was always a bonus. And yeah, just seen the whole night in, which was good fun.
Heck yes. Poker is always nice.
Yeah, and then this morning, woke up, had a coffee because priorities, and then went straight into the ocean and been to the beach already this morning, and then back again.
Johnny, you were saying you were out pretty late.
I was out pretty late. So I went to a family member's house, and we just, I got there quite late, and then partied all the way through, really. And then it was kind of daylight when I was reminded about the show, and they brought me home.
What a good brother.
Yes, he's a good brother. Yeah.
Robert, you told us your story earlier, but go ahead and share it again.
They were having the fireworks at 7:30 p.m. for the kids, so I went over town, over to the riverbank, and got some photos and shots, video of the fireworks over there. That's at that stage, because there's no way in hell I was going to be over there at midnight. Too many boisterous people. Probably a lot of drunks out by that stage in the clubs and on the streets. So I avoided that area after that and came home probably about 8 o'clock and watched the fireworks from Sydney going off on the computer here on YouTube. I streamed that live. I was going to do the normal end of the year thing with Andy, but he was nowhere to be found until about 1 o'clock in the morning. He finally showed up.
Oh no!
But yeah, there goes him. Yeah, his phone must have died finally.
Right?
So I was on there just watching all the different fireworks going off. I'm not sure where it was, but it might have been over in Tokyo or Philippines or somewhere, but they had really, really extravagant fireworks going off with multiple colors in ball shapes, just different colors all the way around them. So whoever they are, they were making really good fireworks. And not much to say after that. Just finally went to bed about 2 o'clock and got up about 9. Got ready for the show and been here waiting with you for the last hour and a half, 2 hours.
I know, you were so early.
Yeah, well, I couldn't remember if it was 11 o'clock that it started or 12 o'clock that it started. So.
Oh yeah, because you do have the time change.
That's what I didn't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I thought
I came in here and Robert was already sitting here and I had just gotten out of the shower. I was like, "You're early." But it was cool because we got to figure out that his sound was working and everything like that.
Yep.
My sound was working because I guess my music on my phone kind of blew his ears out.
Had to adjust the volume on the controller here. Yeah.
So, what do we think about the teleporting question?
Okay. Go ahead and re-ask that.
Okay. So what is the difference between channeling and teleporting. So as I understand it, channeling is when you enter someone else's body and you use them to see, speak, feel, along those lines. But teleporting, what do we know about teleporting?
Well, to me, teleporting is when you basically leave the body or just leave out of your mind and go to another place. Another place could be another time as well, because I've been to different places and different times. But with channeling, it's basically just so that the spirit can enter your body and share their story, basically through your eyes. But teleporting or using portals or astral traveling, you actually go to that place, that time, in your mind. Your body doesn't leave, obviously, but you can travel there either through your mind or some people say it's your soul going to that time, that place, to experience what you need to either learn or what you want to see. And yeah, as you were saying before, you are connected by a cord, and nothing else can enter your body when you are out of it. Like there's no vacancy sign stuck up on your forehead.
Yeah, that's what I heard it explained as, is like a silver cable or something like that.
There is
Nothing
a cord.
can jump in. Yeah.
Yeah, very much like Donnie Darko, the movie.
Oh
Only
man,
he
I gotta
had it
watch that
coming out
again.
of him. Yeah. And well, I think it was Shirley MacLaine. She had that sort of explanation as well, having the silver cord, life cord, attaching to you when you're out of your body. So you can always follow that back home to your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's attached to you like wherever you go.
Yeah.
I was actually able to find Chris one night when I had gone, and I found him in the ether via that cord, and took him back to his body.
Does everybody have the same colored cord, or
It's
is
just
it different
a
colored cords? Like,
I don't
is it
know.
the color of your aura, or?
I'm not sure. I can't
I've
answer
never
that.
really checked. I just know it's there.
I know it's usually a whitish color, like silver, white silver.
Like a platinum gold?
Yeah, I know Chris's one was like a bright white to a silver color. It's kind of just like an energy thread. I call it a thread. It's a thread. And when I go to find people, and I'll follow their threads to where they are in the ether. Yeah.
So you had to help him back to his body, or?
No, I just found him in the ether. So one particular night I was doing this test, and I was on a video call to a girl, and I just sort of thought, I said to her, I've been telling Chris to go to bed all night, because he just would stay up to ridiculous o'clock,
I know.
He was so
had those
tired.
crazy hours for a while.
Yeah, so I was like, just go to sleep, go to sleep. So anyway, he went to sleep, and I said to a friend of ours at the time, and I was like, if this whole twin flame thing is real, I'm going to go and wake him up. And he was at the casino this particular night, so he wasn't even at home. And I went and found him, and I'm looking over his body, and I'm like, he's not here. And she's like, well, where is he? And I said, I don't know, he's not here. And then I was like, right, I'll go and find him then. So I followed his cord. I followed the thread, and I found him in the ether, and he was overlooking a girl with blonde hair, young girl with blonde hair, and her spirit guides, and they were all working together to help this girl.
Oh,
And he's seen me and he comes over and he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I've come to take you back to your body." And it was all just a thing to wake him up. And if I could wake him up, then that was evident that we had a twin flame aspect, twin flame connection. And then I woke him up. I took him back to his body. Within like 2 minutes of, well, not even minutes, it was like 2 seconds, his bubble head pops up in chat. And and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," but I'm talking to her like I'm talking to you guys, the way that it all happened. And she's just like, "Oh my goodness, girl." And then he came into the group chat and he's like, "So what's going on?" And we were cracking up. Like, absolutely in hysterics. And she's just gone, "Man, this girl's got skills." It's
She's
pretty
got
funny.
skills.
Yeah, and he's
I
like, "What's
remember that
going
song.
on?" And I was like, "Why did you wake up?" And he goes, "I don't know, something told me to." And it was great. It was great.
You're like, that was
But
me.
yeah, she told him what had happened, and he's like, "Are you serious?" Mm. But that's, yeah, so his cord, to me, I could see his cord. And that came through like a silvery white color. Sort of like it's like an energy thread. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't intentionally astraled. I know Robert has, and he's helped several people in my life, but I've accidentally done it. Once was when I was in the broken platoon in the Marine Corps, and it was after the first time I used the Ouija board, and I was really tired. And so I laid down by the head, the bathroom. There was a rack right there. I just laid down because it was full. So I was waiting for everybody to come out, and I just crashed out there. And I had this awkward dream where I get up off the rack, I'm going into the bathroom, and I'm like, I felt like I was really drunk, so I'm leaning on the walls, I'm leaning on the sinks, and there's these guys in there working on the bathroom. And I'm single at the time, so I'm like flirting and all giggly, like I'm really, really drunk or whatever. But I couldn't walk properly. Like I felt like I was really messed up. And then I could hear my sergeant yell for us to get in line, and I try to get up and I can't. I opened my eyes and I could see everybody running past me, but I couldn't move. And I was like trying to move with all my might, to the point where when I was finally able to move, like for the next week, I was really, really sore. Like it was ridiculous. And then the second time it happened was a few years ago. I was watching my friend Glow's house while she went to California, and I was dog sitting for her. And I'm sitting there watching all her paranormal shows because I didn't have any of that on my janky TV. And all of a sudden, I hear this rant. Well, she has this kind of like corduroy paper on her wall. And when I look up, this fly swatter is swinging back and forth like this. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I get up to see what the dogs are doing, and the dogs are laying in her bed. They're not doing anything. And I'm like, well, that's really freaking weird. And then my chest started to hurt, and I felt really tired. So I went to sleep, and then all of a sudden I wake up, and I'm on all fours, and I'm trying to crawl, but I can't. I'm like falling back and forth, kind of like I'm a drunk baby. That's what it reminded me of, like a baby trying to crawl, but it got into daddy's beer or something. But yeah, I'm falling back and forth. I can't control my body. And then I look behind me, and I'm still on the couch. And so for an instant, I thought that I had fucking died. Like I thought I died. I thought I had a heart attack or something. So I, wobble crawled my way back to my body, and I got back up there where my body was, and I woke up and I looked around and everything was okay. But I think it was because I was trying to physically move my body in the spiritual realm instead of spiritually move my body. I just think I fell out of my body. Didn't realize it till I looked back. I was like, what the hell? I thought I died. It scared the shit out of me.
You might need to plait your cord.
Right?
That might
I didn't realize. Yeah. I just thought I fell off the couch. So I was trying to crawl, and I was like, what the hell? Like I didn't even drink. Like what's happening? And then I saw my body, and I was like, holy shit, I just died. get back in the body before it's too late. There's nobody here to save you.
I've never heard of an experience like that before.
It scared me bad. But yeah, I wonder what that was before that, like, did that to the wall. It's like it scratched the wall. You could hear the rat against the corduroy, and the fly swatter and the keys were swinging.
I have no idea.
Might have been, this is your kick out of your body warning signal.
Yeah. What would be doing that? There's obviously something there before it happened, because that happened before I left my body.
Exactly.
Maybe it was something.
Maybe it just pulled you out to force you to channel through you.
Right?
Yeah, that is bizarre.
Yeah, very strange.
So we do think that teleporting, you do go there through your mind. See, I would have thought that teleporting was your physical body going. No?
To me, when I think of teleporting, I think of Star Trek. But then, like, if you could do it spiritually, that's what I was talking about astral travel earlier. Like, when you astral travel, can you do it in this time realm and another? Because, like you were saying, like, you're in this scenario of back when, there's these, baths back in the time of Caesar, and you're the towel girl. Is that a past life regression sort of thing, or is that teleporting to the past, or can you astral travel to the past? See, that's where I'm confused, because I'm not educated on this. I don't do this stuff like Robert does.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about it either. Hence why I think it's an important topic to try and work out, because, all these times that I've been channeling, have I been teleporting?
Right.
And how many other people out there who are classing it as channeling, when in fact they're teleporting, or they're astral traveling, or they're, because I know that when I astral travel, it's totally different to what I'm doing while I'm under a trance. You know what I mean? Do you follow me?
So when you saw this towel girl scenario, were you in a trance, or did somebody hypnotize you, or?
Yeah, I was under hypnosis. So Richie, that just came on, he puts me under hypnosis, and I go into like a trance-like state, and then I will basically draw what I'm seeing through these hypnosis sessions, and like I'm under for about 2.5 to 3 hours, anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. And I just pull all these things from it. And I've got an interview with a lady from a city there in Australia, Mary Rodwell, and she's going to talk about the stuff that I've pulled out of it, because some of it we're not sure if it's ancient alien language. I've been going to places that, like I said before, I was, a towel girl, standing there with Julius Caesar's Senate, and I'm her. I look down, I see her clothing, I'm her. I'm looking through her eyes. I can hear what she's hearing. Yeah. So, other times I'm part of an army guard. Other times we've found all these different places that I've been to. They're like little cobble cities, ancient Egypt cobble cities. And we've worked out that it's basalt rock, cities made out of basalt rock. Yeah, I just go to all these multiple places. I've been underwater, created things under it, like worked out particular symbols that I've pulled out of them, working out what they are, what they mean. and they go back. They go back a very long time.
Yeah, Chuck Bam in the chat room said Happy New Year's. He's also saying teleporting would be physical, channeling is spiritual, and then he's saying yes, astral projection, but
that's as I have seen it. Now, channeling, even if I am channeling through these people, that's why I've always classified it as channeling, because I am them at that time. You know what I mean? But then I go and I go through and I'm me, all the way. I'm just me all the way. So then that's where we've queried is some of these past life regression, because I've never done anything like that. Is that past life regression stuff that I'm becoming these people?
Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh,
You're back.
hey.
It's okay. It was just for a couple seconds.
Yeah, I was just saying, I just wasn't sure what to make of it, for starters, but secondly, what you guys thought of the whole teleporting to channeling factor. So what did that guy say? It was spirit. Teleporting is physical, channeling is spiritual.
Yeah.
That's how I perceived
astral
it as
projection,
well.
yes. But yeah, like to me, I've always thought as teleportation as physical, astral. I don't know. I think that's like a spiritual thing too. But like you said, you're under regression or whatever when you're doing this. So I think that's when your past lives can pop up. Like I've had people on the show like 5 or more years ago when I first started doing this and having psychics and past life generators and stuff do this, and had one offer to do it, and it just scares the shit out of me because I don't know this lady and she's offering to do it for free, but I don't trust a lot of people. So it's like, you're going to be walking around in my head, you're going to knock over a table and break my favorite lamp or something, like I'm afraid to let this lady do this. But at the same time, I'm so intrigued, especially after I found out I'm ectopic Egyptian and all kinds of different things that I didn't even know. Like I'd love to see what my past lives are, especially like my husband telling me some things about this girl that was on his quest back in the day, that was going through that area of where the ectopic Egyptians were, and she was actually killed by this guy in his clan. He was like a Knights Templar or something like that. And when I told him, when it popped up on my 23andMe that I am ectopic Egyptian, he's like, that's fucking scary, because now this shit is all adding up. Like our passive crossed again. And yeah, it's giving me like goosebumps right now. Like it freaks me out. Because I did see that guy on the side of the road once. He like kneeled down and he was in his like robe and everything. And I told Vern, I was like, did you see that? And he's like, no, what'd you see? And I said, there was a guy that like kneeled down like this on the side of the road. And he's like, that sounds like, and he calls him the Hound. That sounds like the Hound. And so, yeah, I don't know. All this shit is freaking him out, but it'd be interesting to do that. But at the same time, I'm scared shitless. Really, I'm a wussy when it comes to that.
Yeah, I've never delved down that path before. So purely on the basis that the past is in the past and there's no need to get that information. But apparently, if I am doing past life regression during these hypnosis sessions, then obviously there's a purpose to it.
Yeah, and I've also heard that a lot of our traumas or like different issues we have within this life can come from a past life. It like carries over. Some people wonder, am I cursed or this or that? Like a lot of these things can carry over. And so I think if you can do that regression, you can acknowledge it and heal from that, you won't have to deal with that shit anymore, So I think it's like a good thing in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that thing in Lion King. Pop. Well, what'd you do that for? It's in the past. It doesn't matter. Well, I don't know. It really does. What do you think, Robert?
Yeah, some things you have to learn again and again. So yeah, if it's thrown in your face, it must be there for a reason.
Yeah, right. And I think that's why we do go through lives repeatedly until you learn your lesson or from your mistakes. You're doomed to repeat it repeatedly.
Yeah. Oh, my phone is getting so hot.
Hmm?
My phone, it's overheating. It's been
Uh-oh.
overheating. I need to put it on an ice pack to put it in the fan. I'll be back in a
Well,
second.
just don't put it in the freezer.
Sometimes during the summer, I like to stick my head in the freezer. Just don't stick your head in the oven.
Oh, there's a fruit shop here that they have most of their fruit and veggies inside of this walk-in massive fridge type of thing. You can go through, and I just go there to cool down. I don't go for the food.
Just looking around. Because you guys are kind of like in summertime right now, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lucky bastards.
Yeah.
I don't know. Springtime's my favorite time of year. I wish it was springtime all the time. I'd be happy.
Right now it says it's 86.9 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, well, it's not so bad here. It's been freaking frigid, but right now it's 57.2 Fahrenheit and 14 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, well, that's 30.5 Celsius. It's meant to get to 32, and then 33 tomorrow, 35 on Tuesday, and 37 on Wednesday. Lovely.
We're in the low 20s.
The what?
We're in the low 20s. It's quite pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
20 degrees.
I've had that Arctic thing. I saw it on the weather called something railroad. I can't remember what they called it. I just watched it last night. You know, I have all the timers, so I can't remember stuff like I should. Something to do with the cold weather coming down on this little track like this. But yeah, it's been insane. And then we have those rivers, they call them. They're not really rivers, but it's just like wetness coming from Hawaii on across. Huh?
Mm-hmm. The air currents.
Yeah. But they're calling them rivers because it's so wet. Well, I was surprised when I went out today because I was expecting like snow-packed roads because it snowed overnight and everything. But the roads were clear as shit. Like my driveway sucked, but once I got on the roads, it was good to go.
Yeah, well, apparently Darwin last night at midnight could not do their fireworks like they were planning because of all the wind and the almost cyclonic rain up there. Because they've got the remnants of a cyclone passing over them at the moment. So they had to cancel all that. So I had to stick with just watching the Sydney and then the Brisbane fireworks. And then, yeah,
That's
they're
Brisbane.
about
No, I'm just kidding.
Brisbane.
I don't know if Johnny knows that story. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, so the tropic rivers coming in. Then I think it was the Siberian Railway coming down like this. And then there's a low right here where like Oklahoma, Arkansas, and everything is. And then it spouts up like this. Yeah, so you know it's going to cause all kinds of tornadoes, all kinds of shenanigans. New York got hit once. Supposedly it's going to get hit again. Like, this is scary shit. Like, last time I looked, it was at least like 60 people died in New York, whether they were out in you know, the weather or in their cars or just in their homes with no power.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
because cars couldn't move because of all the snow. And yeah, they I saw on one report they had to get the forklifts in to pick up the cars because they were stuck that securely. And
Yeah, I also saw that there was a shitty ass grocery store that was like, no, go away. But there was a Target, aka Target, that allowed people to come in. They had like over 20 people in their place. And then I just saw today that there was also a Walmart that allowed like 50 people into their place. So thank God for people out there with a heart that are like, hey, come in, because the weather is crazy. Like Mother Nature is pissed off and she's throwing a fit. So let people in, because otherwise people are dying. I don't know if you heard about that one lady. She heard somebody yelling for help outside of her house there in Buffalo, and she brought him in. He was a 60-something-year-old man, and he had really bad frostbite on his hands and stuff, but they were able to save his life. And finally somebody pulled up in a truck that could get through the snow once, the snow wasn't blowing around, and get him to a hospital. But man,
I heard the other one about the lady that lost power, and a 3-year-old, I think it was on a ventilator, and they had to, her and her husband had to keep breathing for the child, and until somebody came along and helped them out. So yeah, it's very serious stuff over there.
I know, I was just thinking, because this last summer I bought a generator, and it's not only gas but diesel powered. And I bought it for like $250, I think, and it's like a $500 rig. And I was thinking, like, last time I saw it, it was like right there by the garage. Where the heck did it go? Because I haven't seen it in a while, so maybe it's in the garage. But if we do lose power, we're gonna need something like that. We do have a fireplace, so that's very helpful. But to get the blower going, or to cook food, or whatever we might need, kind of trying to plan ahead, because we had one from those rivers coming through, the weather rivers. I was like, man, look what Buffalo went through. Like, maybe we're going to go through the same thing. And it was nothing like that. They always kind of over exaggerate our weather here in Colorado. But yeah, I still try to plan ahead.
Yep. Oh, you got to, just in case of that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught out in the moist.
Did you see that video where that guy said moist and his wife from the other room, what'd you say? Moist.
No,
and she comes in. I guess people really hate that word.
Apparently.
I guess. It's like, what's wrong with you? Moist. Sorry, guys, there's a trigger. Obviously. I don't know. I'm just glad to be out of bed. I'm alive. Oh, man. 24-hour bug. It was more like, I'm going to say more like 48 hours, and I'm still like up and down with it. But yeah, I was full-fledged in bed there for Friday. Yeah. Thursday.
Yep.
Thursday night, Friday, all day and night. Finally ate Friday night. I ate a little bit of something and was able to keep it down, but yuck. There's a lot of bugs going around. Do you guys have that too? Like, I heard influenza A is really big. There's a new offshoot of Omicron. Omicron had a baby, and it's got this cool little name. I'll have to look it up. And then there's this 24-hour bug going around. I'm going to have to look up the new Omicron offshoot real quick to see what that is called.
Omicron had Optimus Prime.
That's what it is. But it's got like letters and digits. Oh, it's called the BA.4.6. Bah. It's bad.
Bugger all.
Bugger all.
Bugger all.
Bugger all. 4.6.
Just over half.
I knew you'd know what it was called, Robert. But I did write down a couple things for the show, but we're about out of time. So let's just finish up with our shenanigans this hour. I'm still trying to get Travis in here. I don't know where the heck Travis is. Travis, where are you?
Hello, Jason. I see you commented just now saying hello.
Oh,
Tessa.
if Jason wants to join, he can too.
And Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to everyone else on the on all this, like Sandra. Who else? Chuck. Yeah, Happy New Year. Everyone else there. They're setting up fireworks and what sounds like cannons in my neighborhood. Charming. Gotta make sure everyone's awake at midnight.
Yeah, it makes me feel bad for soldiers with PTSD and dogs.
Yeah, well, as soon as it started off, I was thinking to myself, that's when all the animals will go berserk and run away, and today I'll be find the animals.
Yeah, save the animals. Yeah, Jason, if you want to come on the Paranormal Forum, let us know. We'll bring you in. Mia was supposed to be on, but she had to go to a neighbor's house for a goat emergency and pull a kid from a mom. So, a goat is giving birth. And then Travis, I don't know if he's having issues with this link or not, but hopefully he joins us because I always love to hear what's going on in his neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Travis. He's awesome. And geez, he's been having all kinds of UFO sightings up there. He's got some amazing pictures. I don't know if you got to see those, Jani. Did you?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No,
yeah. I'll have to show those to you, or hopefully he comes in and he can show them again. But it was amazing. They were doing one of their powwows in his neck of the woods up there in Canada, and oh my gosh, you see this thing that looks like a portal in the sky, and then you see different craft and stuff. At first I thought it was like northern lights, but it was just irradiating from this portal in the sky, and then there was crafts and stuff. Or maybe there was crafts first and then there was a portal, but it was just epic.
I mean, you kind of got to query how they go from point A to point B.
Yeah. Like a time warp or something. My daughter, she got so mad. My 7-year-old, she's like, Mom, check this out. I'm going to do a time warp. I guess it's some sort of app or something on phones these days. And she just got a phone for Christmas. And she kept trying to do it. And she's like, you're supposed to wave it back and forth, and do this little dance. And it's supposed to time warp you. And she's like, it's not working. She was getting so frustrated. And it was so cute. I was like, it's okay, Lily. It's just a nap. Don't get upset. She's like, I want to do the time warp. I should have put the time warp song on for her and did the dance. You're not doing it right. First you jump to the left, then you stand to the right.
Put your hands on your head.
Do the electric slide. Everybody's saying, let's do the time warp again. It was so sad. I was like, it's okay, Lily. It's just a nap. They've got an app for that.
That's cute.
Kids are so cute. I should have told her, it's just the bugger all. It's the bugger all 4 point whatever.
Oh, I just took Panadol.
What? What is that?
Yeah,
Aspirin.
Headache sort of pill.
And I've got my phone on an ice pack. That's why you're looking at the
ceiling.
You should have the ice pack on you and the phone on aspirin. I'm just kidding.
Well, we can share. I'm all about sharing. Sharing is caring.
Back and forth. That's right. Did you guys
Oh,
hear about the whole Tylenol thing? Now they're saying Tylenol can cause not Down syndrome, autism.
really?
Yeah. So it's a new thing. If you took autism while you were pregnant, or you took Tylenol while you're pregnant and your child has autism, you could have a claim. And I'm like, what the heck? So luckily I didn't really take anything like that when I was pregnant, except for with my first daughter. My mom told me, because I couldn't sleep, just take some Tylenol PM, it'll be okay. And I did it a couple times, but I think by that time she was basically fully cooked, so she was okay. She was out of the woods, the brain was formed, everything. But could you imagine, like, had you taken it earlier for different reasons and you thought it was perfectly safe because Tylenol's been here forever, and then this happens? I would be pissed.
Makes you wonder how they find, to go back to that, to go back to to pinpoint
how
it.
they do their studies so that they can find what's
Yeah.
causing it. Yeah.
And also
Like, I don't know
dementia.
something you just wouldn't take on a daily basis. And I
No.
guess for some
No.
people they would have to.
Yeah, some
But
people
anything
do.
excessive, during pregnancy is going to definitely have an impact.
Yeah, and then ibuprofen, like when I was in the broken platoon, they wouldn't give me any good drugs. They're just like, here, take this ibuprofen special formula stuff. And then I would take it, but I don't like taking pills. So I'd only take it when I could because I have a high pain tolerance. But they're saying now that ibuprofen causes dementia. It's like, is anything fucking safe anymore? Like, I just don't know.
Special
I'm glad
formula to
I
change
don't.
your DNA.
Yeah. All you gotta do is microwave some food and fuck up your DNA.
That too. Yep.
Yeah. I know. What a world! What a world!
Oh, what a world! Melting and melting.
Who would have thought?
Oh, it's so moist.
Oh. Oh man. Speaking of so moist, holy shit. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I had a fever. At least the first day I had this shit because I was a sweaty fucking mess. Which, when that happens, you like get really hot
You
and
was
then you
a
get
hot
really
mess.
cold. Yeah, I was a hot mess. And then I was a cold mess. And then I was like, did you turn on the water heater? Because I need to take
Then you're a wet
shower.
mess.
Yeah, I was walking around moist mess. And like I'm fumigating the house. It was purple. I hate being sick. It's like the grossest shit ever. I don't like it. And I take my vitamins, but bugs are bugs. And I swear to God, like I threw up and my husband's like, you really, didn't drink a lot. I saw you drink that bottle of water, but damn, because it was just like, I don't know, at least a full gallon that first time. I was like, wow, where'd that come from? It must have just taken all the moisture from my body. Then I'm walking around all sucked up and my eyes are sucked in.
Yeah. Looking like a mummy.
I was all gacked.
You're running around precious.
My precious.
That's right.
Oh man. That reminds me on I think it was Thursday. The last day I worked with my girl Tassie. I felt bad because I had to skip out on her too. I'm like, I'm sorry, I was like throwing up all night. But yeah, I didn't want to be around her, didn't want to get her sick. And but we go and walk dogs for some of her free time, and we got one named Dobby. And this dog, I swear, was on crack. He was like hop skipping around everywhere, wrapping around her legs here and there. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this dog's on crack. Dobby the house elf has a problem. And she's like, I'll never walk this dog again. She was wanting to walk it for like 2 weeks. But last week they put it in a playroom, and I think somebody was looking at it the week before. Poor thing. I don't know what his deal is, but yeah. Kind of reminded me of Schmeagle.
Well, if Dobby ever gets those little bugs, you can always say, Dobby's got fleas.
Please. And we take a bag with us when we walk the dogs for the Humane Society, because you're supposed to pick up your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like piles all along the trail, and it's like, does nobody else follow this rule? Like, I'll be walking along for a good hour or whatever with some poo dangling from my hand, like, Merry Christmas, I brought you something. Nobody picks up their shit.
On the trail to Bagby Hot Springs, there's a big pile of dinosaur poop. No one's picked that up in have. It's all solidified.
Yeah, well, Dobby actually took a shit like right at the beginning of our walk, and I'm like, Tassie, because like, we lost Johnny. I think her phone finally overheated. But we're about to go to music break anyways. But yeah, so Roddy, he's a Rottweiler. I call him Hot Roddy, but he's a really good dog. Like, he's really good on the leash and everything. I don't know why he's not adopted yet, except for he's a Rottweiler and people are scared. But I think it's the food they were giving him, and they get food donated, so he's eating certain kind of food and they switch his diet. But a few times he's had the squirties, and you can't really pick that up. But I was left carrying his shit for quite a while, and I did carry it. But when Dobby did his, it was like kind of in between, and I wasn't really close with this dog, so I was like, Tassie, I think we can leave this one right here by the trail here, and on the way back we'll pick it up, because it was right at the very beginning of our walk, and I didn't feel like really, carrying it with us. But yeah, Jason's in there saying, oh, let's add her back in. More cannons going off in the hood. It's a takeover. Welcome back.
I don't know what happened. I think I accidentally.
I just figured your phone overheated.
No. I think I must have accidentally touched the leave button. But
I
found my way back.
You subconsciously ditched us. I'm glad you found your way back.
I did.
Oh. Angel said I'm echoing. It looks good over here, but I might have to recheck stuff.
Yeah, and anyone that's seeing me on the video, I'm actually polishing one of the rocks.
Yes, so that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Nothing more than polishing the rocks, okay?
It's not doing something weird.
He's not polishing the old knob. He's not flogging the old dolphin. Well, on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go on our first music break. On this break, we have Mr. Jeff Hilliard. We're going to play Abandoned, then Good Life, and then we have one of my favorites, Consensual Sex Van, and then Multitude. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break. All right.
Consensual Sex Van. What do they put on the side of that? Free sex?
No, he actually is or was selling it, and it's got the whole like
That's
you know how
pimping.
what do they call it where they put the stuff on the side of your van? Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a big old sticker, but it's for your car.
Yeah, laminating or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, a wrap. Yeah, they put a wrap on his van, and it says Consensual Sex Van. It's got the cool like cloud motif and everything going on, and it's really pimped out. If you see the video, you'll know what it looks like. But yeah, it's awesome. I would play it through the
if it's down here, that'd have to be a station wagon, and it'd have to have Sandman written on it.
Shaggin' wagon.
Exactly, I was about to say that, shaggin' wagon. It has to be dark blue or metallic blue.
No, it's a really good song though. You should check it out. Jeff Hilliard, Consensual Sex Fan.
From the
I
dolphin.
might play it through the speakers. If you guys are going to hang out here, I won't turn the music on for the microphone for people, but I do have to go hit the head really quick. But I will be right back. So you guys going to hang out?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be back in a sec. I have to turn it on for me though, so I can hear what's going on. Make sure it's all going to plan.
I love it when a plan comes together.
I'll try not to kick myself out the room.
There she goes.
So have you got any New Year's resolutions, Robert?
No, not really. No, just I decided this year that they can just be suggestions, they can be altered.
What was that? Say it again.
I said this year I've just decided they can be suggestions that can be altered.
I think that's a better statement, isn't it? Acceptance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then they're not failures.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. Yeah. Oh, I just want to crawl into bed and go to sleep. Oh.
That was me yesterday. I didn't get any sleep until about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd gone to bed about 2 and just tossed and turned and ended up watching the phone YouTube all night. And then yesterday morning, I was like, get up like a zombie.
Yeah. Oh, I feel terrible. Normally, lots of conversations.
Yeah.
Oh man, this phone is really crap. It's actually, I've got it on charge and it's not even charging.
That's a bit suspicious.
Keeps going down, well, because it's so hot, it's just burning its way.
Well, I've noticed that if you're on one of these things that take video, like here or on Skype, it'll heat the phones up. So that's why I try to do those sort of things here on the computer where it doesn't have a chance to.
It's a new phone too, so it shouldn't actually be overheating. I've got to take it back.
Oh, definitely.
Might put some, I should eat.
Yeah, there's an idea. Yeah. We usually have about between 15 and 17 minutes. So, yeah, you can go grab something.
I don't know if my tummy will take it, but we'll see. I'll jump pizza or something in. Quick.
Maybe she knocked herself out again. Unless she's in the back room now. And if she's in the back room, she'll have to wait till Tessa gets back in because I can't call her in. Welcome to the Robert Show. Kidding. Just getting a polish on some of these other bits and pieces that are on my desk. I have a piece of snowflake obsidian I'm turning into a little mini blade, little knife. And other than that, I've got a piece of boulder opal. It's got some colours on the end there, nothing on the sides really, but it's got a good patterning to it. What else? Got a few pieces of well, as you saw before, I was doing the smoky quartz. I've got a bit of opal there, boulder opal. Actually, this is sand opal, I think. There is a difference. Another bit of obsidian, bit of clear quartz. I have some rose quartz. For those that don't love me, I can whack them with this until they do. Kidding. Here comes Tessa. I think she knocked herself out again.
Oh no. Jesus said, waxing the dolphin.
Yep.
Oh, here she comes.
Yep.
Here's that song. Here's that song, Johnny. The video is epic. I won't let you go. Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good video. I love the way it starts and stops, and
it's a really good song, man. You should check it out.
Jeff Hilliard's a badass. He's winning awards left and right. Happy New Year, Miss Hollingsworth. Julia Gulia.
That struggle straight.
I can't help it. Ever since I watched Wedding Singer, I think Julia Gulia. It's nothing bad. It's actually good.
Are you still on radio or are you still on your music?
We're over here on Facebook. This is the last song. It's Mullitude. I don't know if you ever had a mullet. I actually did. My aunt, which became my adopted mom, she's actually the mom that raised me, told me if I wanted to get my ears pierced, I had to get my hair cut the way she wanted it, and she wanted me to have a mullet. So I can relate to this song. But yeah, we have 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh, 111.
Oh, wicked.
Fuck that. Yeah, you guys gotta check out Jeff Hilliard. He's badass. He's like constantly picking up and winning awards. Oh, you know the guy that does Machete, and he was also in, oh, what was that? That one vampire movie that Quentin Tarantino did. I can't think. Damn you, all the timers.
Dusk Till Dawn?
Yes, Dusk Till Dawn. The guy that was like kind of like the bouncer. And yeah, same guy that plays Machete and same guy that's got the taco place in California. But yeah, he just did something with him recently.
Oh, yeah, the one that's Machete. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, he
I
like
can
was
look it up.
posing. Yeah, he was posing with him. I was like, don't make him break out his machete, okay? He'll kick your ass, okay? He'll chop you down with the machete.
Oh,
I don't know where Travis is. Travis, Willier
Probably
Moostoos.
partying it up.
I know. I'm like, hey, come in here, okay? It's okay. Going back in 5.
It's all right.
It's all right. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Things have been crazy with the sound. Angel was actually in the chat room over on Spreaker, and she's like, do you have a live chat? You're echoing. It's kind of hard to be in all places at once, but yeah, I think I fixed it. So Angel, let me know if you still hear us, if we fixed it. Otherwise, I think we're good. And generally I would play music on the break, but it's not feeding through the headphones anymore. But at least I can hear the guest on the show, so that's good. But we're back with Robert White and Miss Jani Banani. Am I pronouncing that right, Jani?
that's correct, Johnny. It's Johnny.
All right. Thank goodness. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly. I didn't want to do it wrong. Welcome back. Okay, so I had a couple topics. If you guys don't have any for stuff as far as paranormal, I know that was a good one that you had. Did we touch all the bases you wanted to on the teleportation and astral travel and stuff, or?
Yeah, I suppose. It was really just that one question that I had to see what you guys thought of it. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I accidentally left my body twice, and I don't work towards doing it because I'm scared. I can admit that. I have fear of astral projecting. I only did it accidentally twice, but I don't know how to teleport or do all this badass shit that Robert does. Robert polishes stones and kicks ass in the astral plane. What,
You've
Jani?
actually teleported, Robert.
Yeah. The other person that does another radio show that Tessa used to work for, at one point in time was under threat of a huge fire up there in Canada, and I was keeping an eye on his place. I'd be here, but I'd also be there. Like I'd be able to sort of halve myself and go from here to there and keep guard, basically. Mainly to make sure no one was coming near his place to interfere with stuff or rob his place while they were evacuated. But yeah, I can do that. I've also been to.
Is that remote viewing though?
Almost, yeah. It's like remote viewing.
But could
But
you
it's
see
like
yourself
also,
there at a
it's like
certain
stepping
point,
through a
or
doorway. Like stepping through a doorway from here to there, and I'd instantly
Yeah.
I'd be in both.
that's kind of like
That
teleporting?
you didn't physically teleport.
I was there. I was able to see the things that were there, like the elemental that he has in his living room near the
Yeah.
fireplace. It's a fire elemental, so obviously it likes to be near the fireplace. But yeah, I was able to communicate with that while I was there and just make sure everything was status quo.
Okay, so I would consider that more of a remote view rather than a teleporting.
For a
But
full
were
teleport, I
you
need to be
physically
laying down.
doing things?
I was putting up shields around things, making sure they weren't going to get burned if the fire did come around. But it never did. It sort of went the other direction, thankfully.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because that totally brought something up in my mind. We had the Missionary Ridge fire here in Durango, Colorado, and it went all the way from basically where, I want to say Telluride. It's not Telluride. What the fuck is that called? Basically where Hermosa is, all the way over to where Lemon Lake and where we used to live, Tween Lakes, was. And this lady, before I even knew her, went up to our friend, we call him our brother because we're so close, our brother Jerry's house. And she walked along the lines of his property and did some sort of chant or whatever. And it's amazing that he showed us where the line was, and then the fire only burnt up to that line and it didn't burn anywhere past that. And that was amazing. And her name was Susan Siegley. She's dead now. But she actually protected his property. And that was amazing to me. I was like, holy shit. It actually worked. Yeah, that's pretty intriguing how the mind works. Like, the mind is a powerful thing. You can do so many things with it.
Angel in the Spreaker chat, I've actually done stuff in her place too, and she can confirm this if she's still there. I was able to open the portal up in there and make the smoke from her cigarette go in a line towards it. I also, her dog got out at one point in time, and she had a portal in her yard that the dog had gone into, and she was getting panicky because she couldn't find the dog. And I said, open up your door, and next minute the dog comes flying through from the other side of this portal. So I went about shutting that portal down because I had that ability, so it couldn't go back through. But yeah, her dog went for a bit of a walkies by himself.
Yeah, it went through a portal and got lost.
Yeah.
That's insane. And that was so awesome to see you there. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I'd love to be able to portal hop, go through wormholes and come out in different places, teleporting.
I'd go visit my sister. And it's funny, she said she's been doing this astral stuff, and she's explained it to people, and they're like, you're actually astraling. I don't know about you guys, but recently I've been having a lot of dreams where there's a lot of dead people. And it's funny to me because a lot of the dead people that are in there look younger than they did when they died. So I think that's the point where they were kind of like frozen in their existence. That's the point that they live from. Like that's the point they live from. That's how they were. This one person was always childlike, but he was, a really young dude, etc. I don't know if I told you guys about Brian Zahn, our brother. Vern was going to go look for him, and I was like, before you go to Memphis and drive everywhere, let me look online really quick, because I don't think he is on this realm anymore. And I did find his obituary. Come to find out, he passed away January 16th, 2019. Freaking, yeah, quite a while ago. So, we have to go up to Grand Junction and retrieve his ashes. I wanted to do it before Christmas, but the way weather and money and stuff worked out, we couldn't do it. But at least we know where he is, and he's not going to be stuck in a lawyer's office anymore. But I don't know. It just broke my heart. Like, we've had a lot of loss, and I think I cried the most for him just because nobody was looking for him, and it just made me sad. But I'm like, sending out those messages, we're coming for you, Brian. You're not stuck any longer. But he did show up. He even showed up when my brother-in-law Dave passed away, and the chick Vicky that did the thing for his funeral said she had a dream, and she talked about the different people that were there. I think it was my brother Bear that passed, my brother-in-law Dave, and then my brother Brian. And she's like, there was this young dude, he was like blonde-haired dude, and he had like, a ponytail, and he was playing the drums. And we're like, holy shit, that's Brian. Like, before we even knew he was dead, she was talking about him being there at this sort of afterlife party. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I've been having a lot of dreams like that lately. And they're not sad. They're actually like really happy sort of reunion sort of dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I haven't. I've been having weird dreams, like, and I think it's because I've been going under these hypnosis sessions that my brain is kind of wired into zapping myself back into them when I'm asleep. So I tend to go on, journeys while I'm sleeping. But other than that, my dreams aren't really anything. I know a lot of people are having random dreams because they ring me up and tell me about them.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, and it's not like they're all random. Like, I've been having. Oh, we lost her again. But I've been having the dreams where it's people that have already passed, and then dreams that are just like it's really happening. Yeah. They don't feel like dreams. You don't feel like you rested. You're so fucking tired the next day. And it's like you're projecting into the future and seeing things from the future. Have you had anything like that, Robert? Like, not dreams, but revelations or visions?
No, but I was just reading about something on that in the 14 Times I have over on the bed, that they're now saying that there are prophetic dreams being told in abundance now. Like, everyone's getting these dreams that they can now see the future and the things actually start happening the way they dreamt them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a bit scary, especially with some of the dreams coming out. Is that her coming back?
She needs the link again. I'll send it to her again. But no, it's been like that. So dreams with people, and these dreams are like, it's like a party. And it's not irreverent or anything. It's not like a out of hand party, but it's definitely
just all the celebrating, having a good time.
Yeah, we're celebrating our time together. And then the other dreams are, like you said, like revelatory or whatnot. Like, you're having revelations or you're seeing things. And I've been having dreams like this since I was pregnant with my first daughter. And our friend Bill Hauser sent me a link that was talking about alien abductions, children that are born from such, and how they look, and also different aspects they have, like ADHD or ADD or different stuff like that. I sent that to my oldest daughter because, what is the other one? Bipolar. So it was ADHD and bipolar that was like connected to this alien thing. Okay, see her? Yay! Okay,
Sorry.
it's okay. So we were talking about dreams of celebrations with the dead, also visionary dreams. And then I just got to the point of talking about alien abduction, etc. My first one that I saw a UFO was in 2012, I believe. And I believe my son that was born with 6 fingers on his right hand, he and my youngest daughter have tried to be abducted, but I'm thinking there's something up with my oldest daughter too. I just sent her a link that Bill Hauser sent to me about people that have been abducted and impregnated by aliens, and then their spawn basically have really big eyes, which she does, and they either have ADHD or what was the other one I said again? Bipolarism and different effects like that, because there's little glitches in the DNA because they don't get it perfectly right. I don't know. I feel like I could have been one of those as well, as far as like I've never felt like I fit in. Could be because I'm an old soul, could be because I'm a product of aliens. Who freaking knows? Saying it makes you sound really crazy, but I mean, fact is indeed stranger than fiction.
Yeah, well, if they are manipulating DNA, they're probably trying to advance us to the next stage before our time is due to be advanced. So, yeah.
And I think that could be because of what we've done to the climate, how long they've been in space. They have, buildups towards radiation, all kinds of, solar shit that we need because not equator. What is it called? The shield we have around us. Damn it, I can't think right now.
Atmosphere.
Well, we have the atmosphere, and then there's the shield where there's holes broken through from
Oh, the ozone.
either ozone layer. Yes. So it's breaking up, and Harvard has tried to rebuild it with different things, which is also causing health effects. But yeah, so I don't know.
We've
So
got
maybe
a couple
we're
of poles
trying.
right up directly above New Zealand. So when the sun hits, it beats on you.
It's like
So
magnetized.
yeah, it just burns into your skin. So
Does
one
it
thing
here
I don't
too.
like about being outside here in New Zealand is you just feel it piercing right
I
through
burnt
you.
my tits off this last summer. It wasn't fun. I went fishing one day, and yeah, it was bad. I even used
And he takes the
sunscreen, but it's
day.
like, yeah, it could be cloudy, and I heard like with the clouds going over, the solar rays could be like penetrating, or is it something else? Because it really wasn't that sunny that day. I don't know. I just know
don't
the
go
world is
naked
going to
fishing.
shit. What? I didn't. I was wearing an open top because nobody likes tan lines. I had one janky one here and my shorts, whatever. I didn't even like what I was wearing because I'm not very secure about myself. But I'm going fishing. I don't give a fuck. And the only thing I caught was a dead fish.
At least you caught something.
All those male anglers out there, don't go naked fishing because that's not the worm they're chasing.
No, I didn't go naked fishing. I didn't even put a toe in the water. You can't give up, your place. You can't let them know where you're at. You're trying to be all strategic and catch those damn fish. And I hate when I see when people are in a boat and they're doing these things where they penetrate the water and it's just like fish upon fish upon fish upon fish. It's like, what?
Cheating.
You don't like earthworms? What's wrong with you? Didn't your mama raise you right? And do you guys go fishing or no?
And I haven't been for the last 2 years. I've been wanting to for quite a while, but haven't got the tackle. I've got the right
I went
tackle.
fishing. Yeah, last time I went fishing was about 2 years ago too, actually.
Oh wow.
I didn't go last year.
Mhm.
I just worked all year.
Yeah, I
Worked
dragged the
and
kids
no
out.
pleasure.
Mhm.
I know, right? All work and no play makes Johnny a dull girl. Johnny, you have to take time for yourself, or other shit ain't gonna work right.
No, this is very true. Very true.
But it's hard because, like, if I take a day off, 1, 2 steps behind, I got to get back up. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's my own business too. So you kind of like push, when you push the limits, you
Yeah.
end up pushing yourself into having to do all the work. Hire somebody else. Why would I do that? I've got this.
I don't trust other people to run my business. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so Johnny, do you have any things besides what you were saying before? Because I don't want to interrupt with my topics, but anybody else have any ideas?
Fine.
What you'd like to talk to for the Paranormal Forum? Johnny, Robert?
I sort of had these trance sessions. That's been about the most excitement that I've sort of got. I've got an interview with Mary Rodwell from ASETI. She's an Australian. Her resume looks very long.
You're like, okay, can you give me 2 pages? Just cut it
Yeah,
down a little.
just the things that she does. So she does a lot of like the FBI and the CIA alien contact stuff. Anyway, so I've got an interview with her on the 20th to talk about my my experiences and the stuff that I'm pulling out of these trance sessions, and just give her the information that I've got and have a chat, just to have a chat about where I'm going, because some of these places are relating to, not an alien abductee, but an alien contactee. And that's
We could be spawns of aliens,
Well, this is a 3-year. I started getting a lot of signs and stuff 3 years ago, and I could never make sense of it. And it was always just sat there baffling in the back of my mind. And I thought, one day it'll all come to the forefront, and it's coming to the forefront now, where I've, been under hypnosis sessions to try and find information, and then having to go back into hypnosis sessions to redraw some of that information back out, and just to understand what they are. So, Richie, the one that came in before, he has been doing these hypnosis sessions, and he'll just write out everything that I've been doing, and everything that I say while I'm under.
I love Richie. I have to say, he's a good man.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very, very good friend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so grateful for him, because it's like nobody else knows, but when I really need it, he sends me that message,
What?
You're important. You're needed. Like different things like that.
Yeah, he does that. He does that a lot. And he's good like that, like, yeah, you don't realize that, that those messages are actually, it just keeps reaffirming things in you, Yeah, he's good like that.
It's like right when you're like about to dip, he's like, hey, guess what? You're worth it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It's not like I'm super depressed or anything like that, but just having some positive words from somebody is very helpful, I really, really dig that.
Yeah, he's sweet like that. Yeah, so he's been doing he writes out all these things, and I mean, I can show you quickly some of the oh, where'd you go?
Me?
You there? Yeah. No,
Yeah, I'm
I
still here.
I thought I'd pulled myself out again. Yeah, so I'll go into these hypnosis things. Now, a really cool thing had happened, and I'll show you briefly. Oh, oh my goodness, I've got stuff on my table everywhere. Okay. I drew a picture back in February, and I'll show you these. I'll show. Oh, I can't turn the camera around, can I? Looking at that, and that's stable. Right. So back in February, this is my diary. My work diary. It was like my work book. My work diary. Where are we at? So I don't know. Can you see the date?
Yeah.
27th Feb. Yep.
Yeah. So I drew this. Here we go. Are we in? Okay, so I drew this picture, which is just, it's just a doodle, that's how I do all these really random doodlings. And on that page, and then on the 26th of Feb, I did the same thing. Just a doodle, right? Big eyes, see the eyes, the galaxy in the eyes, and then there's these tiny little, like, pictures that go, here we go, like that. What I didn't realize at the time, which I now know, is that doodle was part of my hypnosis sessions. So I've been going under hypnosis for the last few weeks. Now I did that in the 26th of February, and all of the stuff that I drew in here in my doodling has been coming out through my hypnosis, down to signs and symbols that I've done. So these are some of the things that I've pulled out from. Oh, I'll show you on this page. That's basically how it looks when it comes out. Okay, so that's.
Yeah, could you get it closer? Oh, I see. A little closer, though. Is that like the universal map or something?
I'm still learning about what a lot of them are. Like, so basically, like, to pull it back, I got 3 A4 sheets of paper together, sticky tape them, and I just go through this doodle session where I'm drawing out things that I see. We didn't do it the first time, but I've done it the second and the third time. So, and I'm just pulling out bits and pieces. We then come out, and I will define what I pull. So things like that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of those symbols and stuff, I didn't recognize. I just didn't know what they were. But I've had, friends on the on the research side of things, and we've just been trying to pull as much of it out as possible. So one of my friends rang me yesterday, and she's like saying about the cobblestone city that I went to. It was made out of basalt. What's up?
When you say cobblestone, I don't know. My sister was in a really bad car accident. Not only was she, but her daughter Thea, who is my first niece, was injured. And I remember when I was with her, she kept waking up and like just grabbing onto me because she said she was in this cart. It was dark and she could just hear the cart going over the cobblestone. So when you say cobblestone village, like that is creepy to me.
That would be comfy. No, yeah, so in one of my sessions, I went to all these different places, and a cobblestone city was one of them. I'd been through, I had these 2 tour guides, and I'd met, like, I think we counted 5 or 6, 7 species of alien I'd been introduced to, or I had seen, right down to one who had big teeth and bones here and here and bones up there, like little horn things sticking out. Really weird. I've met a see-through one where you only could see like the tail, the spine, and everything else was like clear. Met the tall greys, met a Palladian, met 2 actually. They were sort of in the same part. Different hominoid species, so one that had the skull elongated at the back. I'll show you. I drew them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Egyptians tried to rebuild themselves after that species. That's why they used to wrap their babies' heads. And how did they learn to do that? How did they know to do that? It's so weird.
This was I only did 8 of them on this, but there was a 12. There was this there that was like 12. You can probably see it better on that. That was the original. There was 12 arms, like 12 arms that came off it. And but I could only draw 8 of them because by the time I had to sort of keep moving on, I got 8 of them out. Anyway, so my friend rang me yesterday and she was saying in Antarctica they have something like that's ingrained in basalt walls or floors. It was on the wall. It was in a doorway. She called it the Black Sun. What is that, Robert?
And that is the first time I've heard that. I've heard black hole sun and sunspots on the sun. I've never heard of a black sun. That's an alien.
Meant to be alien.
Crystal skull.
Out of quartz. Elongated.
Ooh, E.T. Shane.
No, not as much as not like that. Mine was different.
It's more compacted, yeah.
Well, that's how alien heads are, but yeah, even the Egyptians, like, they would wrap the skulls, so they were shaped like that. Who was it? Was it Tutankhamun? I think it was somebody else that did have the elongated skull that started the whole thing.
It's like that.
Enoch or something like that. Jeez, oh Pete. I have to Google it.
I have to find this little. Can you see them?
Mm-hmm.
That looks similar to the head I saw when I was about 7.
Yeah. They're.
Say it again.
When I was 7, I was on my bed at night, and I just started learning how to whistle, and I was whistling away, and then these about 6 or 7 skulls similar to that just started rotating around my bed, and yeah, next thing I knew, I must have been out of my body, but it was I was in the backyard of next door because that's where we used to live, and we had a metal slippery slide going down into the pool. Only the slippery slide had been moved to the front of the house, and I was climbing that. I'd gotten up onto it, slid down, and instead of having that drop to the end, it was raised up. So I went down and actually flew, and the next thing I know, I was dropping onto the bed because I could hear the springs squeak as I landed. So, yeah.
They screamed.
I didn't scream. But yeah, that just reminded me of the skulls that were around me at that point in time. So, I know I've been taken a couple of times. I've recently figured that out.
I'm really like, I think because I've just never wanted anything to do with alien stuff, you know what I mean? And like here I am going through all of these visions and they all are relating to aliens, and I'm just so, I guess, taken aback by it all, because there's a lot of information that's coming through. There's a lot of things that are happening prior to me going under these trance sessions. Like I said, this started 3 years ago, and I got these symbols in my dream state, and I thought, okay, well, they're weird, so I just do your usual Google, and nothing came up. And then somebody had mentioned that they thought it might be maybe a Reiki symbol for me. And I thought, I don't do Reiki, so I don't see how. Maybe I'll end up doing it in the future. Still haven't, but I've recently, and only just recently, so I was doing the Toth tablets, the green emerald tablets, and was just sort of like a bit of a study group thing, I guess you could say. And I was talking about these particular symbols, and I drew it out over Facebook, like over the video call. And I'd sort of just showed my friend what that particular symbol looked like, drew it out in front of me. And then I hear this ringing in my ear, and it got so loud. It was almost like everything. And then the volume kind of turned up on it, and I was like, whoa, that's never happened before. That is insane. What I didn't realize is, while I was drawing these things out in front of me, showing him on the phone, I was actually opening up. Yeah. And it worked out that was a key. So before I go on to hypnosis, I do the same thing, and and that's where and why I go to the places that I go to. But we had to find, there were three in particular symbols that I got given. And the last session that I did, I drew all three, and it took me just to some weird places. Like, I was a big Black Panther, then I was underwater, and I was playing with elemental stuff. I was creating airbending, I guess you could call it, like from Avatar. It was like I was airbending. I was doing this, and I was creating like tiny little
I believe in that.
tiny
I saw
little
somebody do that in
cyclones.
high school. I think it was like 96. I saw somebody do that. And I was across the street smoking where the bad kids are. And she was over there, and she was moving her arms, and she was making the wind path change and everything. It blew me away.
Yeah, that's what I was doing in this hypnosis session. But part of these key things as well, it'd take me like an hour or two to get through all of the stories that I've got, because there's just too many that are happening. But yeah, in it I was I found ways to create energy. And it was like tapping on these keys, these symbols that they've been giving to me, and it creates like a path. And from that path, this pyramid would just start to rise up. And at the very tip, this white ball at the tip of the pyramid would just appear. And I would be able to collect that energy, collect it, and take it in my hand. And it wouldn't move, it wouldn't dissipate or anything. I could cleanse myself with it. I could blow it, like, and give it to somebody. It was amazing. It just absolutely, these feeling all at one with everything, the planet, the energy sources, the atmosphere, everything, the water, being in the water, communicating with the underwater, like communicating with
the world, like
animals. Yeah, it was that entire godly effect, and this
yeah,
is
I
what
believe
they've been
everything
showing
has an
me.
aura, because I've seen it. Like, I've seen it in freaking plants and trees. Like, trees and plants have auras. That means they have a soul. And a lot of people don't realize that, oh, that's just a tree or that's just a plant. They don't care where they step or what they cut down or whatever. Yes, we do need wood. Cut down the dead shit, but leave the rest of that shit alone. Yes, you want to build a house. Figure out how to build it around that. Like, respect nature, or I don't know. There's so many different ways you can do it. And it just seems like since 99, I'm going to use that as a point of reference because I went through so much building and growing and etc. up to that point. So I'm going to say 99 is when like massive realization happens. That's because I'm about to bring a life into the world. But no, so many things happened. I even started having revelations about the end of the world. Like, that's when I realized so much. And even before then, I knew it. But it was after that point where I could see it. I could actually physically see a tree or a plant's aura. It just really blew me away. I knew animals and plants because I would talk to my plants. Why else would I talk to my plant? It's kind of stupid. But it's individual. It has its own aura, its own little spirituality. It is a being of some sort. I think
They definitely
I think
have.
I just had mental vomit.
I know it's true. Like, I think, I also think that there's trees and stuff have souls. They, when you, it's hard to believe, I know, but it's the essence of life. We all have to have something, otherwise we are dead. Everything will decompose. But I believe trees and stuff all have souls.
Well, why else would the dryads have such reverence for them, the trees?
Could you say that again a bit louder?
I said, why else would the dryads have such reverence for trees, plants, nature? Because they all know that they have souls.
Even the dirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty it's I think, like, I'll tell you one of my, do you want me to tell you one of my trance sessions?
If you want to.
I'm down.
Okay.
We're not forcing you.
It's pretty out there, believe me when I say this. It's
I am here
just,
for you.
okay, so I drop in, I do my key symbol sign things, and I've like mapped them out, and I drop into this trance. And I am met by these two hominoid. One's a hominoid, like that photo that I just, the picture that I drew and showed you. So one's got the elongated skull at the back, and the other one's just a normal looking human. And they've walked me in, and I'm in this massive, like, sandstone temple room. It was just a room in the temple, and there's a big sandstone table. It's got engravings in it. There's these two pylons there, with patterns around the top of it and patterns around the bottom. And there's 4 people in the corner standing there chatting, and there's 3 doors at the end, a stage at the top. And I'm looking around everywhere thinking, okay, well, what am I doing here? Knew exactly where I was, obviously in a temple of some kind. So they guide me through. We walk over through door number 1. And
door number 1.
Brightest of brightest light, but it was like a real dusty, it was like dust, just lit up dust. But it was really, really, really bright. Anyway, I phase back in, and I'm walking across this big metal bridge. And on the metal bridge, I look over the edge, and we're in a trench. So this bridge is going over this big trench. And when I look down, I see these 2 aliens floating up and down, poking at this walls of the trench. And by this stage, I'm like, nah, I'm out. I don't want to have to do this. And, my hypnotherapist is giggling, going, he's like, you're safe. It's okay. Keep pushing through. Because I'm just thinking, I don't want to deal with aliens. That's my usual consensus. And so we walk through this bridge, and I phase out, and I phase back in, and I'm walking down this corridor. But in this corridor, there is also like window gaps, I guess you could say.
Like, like there's a window, then there's like a spacer, or what do you mean window gaps?
Yeah, so there's these like window gap things, I guess you could say. So I'm like, just trying to take as much information as I possibly can. And at this time, I'm looking at these walls, and inside this gap area that you could see was an alien standing on the opposite side of a bed who looks at me like and goes, no. But as I'm reading the room, it wasn't a room, it was like just an open space, but it was classified as a room. And there's a big silver tray, like it was a surgical bed, but didn't have legs on it. It was just floating, free floating. And there was this big machine, and it had like lights underneath it. You know, obviously that was what they would put over. And then obviously this alien who's looking at me, and he shakes his head a little bit, like not shook his head. He just sort of looks over at me and then does this just the slightest of head movements. At that point, what was part of the wall starts to pixelate over, and that window that you could look in was then becomes a wall. It just became like a panel of a wall.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know,
there anymore.
No, and then I realized that all the other rooms that they were open are now all closed, and I'm walking down just this entire corridor. So that was all good. We get around a bend, and waiting at a door, the door opens, and I'm standing there, and I'm looking at this gigantic window. Bowed, it was like a bit of a bowed window, and it's massive. All I could see on the outside was these beautiful gas colours in the sky, like the blues and my phone's going a bit dorky. The colours of the sky, like it was, and the planets, you could see little ball planets, you could see the stars, you could see, just beautiful. It was beautiful. And I look around the room, and there's a man sitting on a lounge, and it's all split level, and there's a bar, and I realised that I knew at that point I was standing on a mothership, but I didn't at that point understand why I was being taken for a walkthrough. So, my phone is glitching out. Don't do this.
We can still hear you.
Okay, so I'm standing in this room at split level flooring. There's a couple of people to my right, and there's a few people to my left that I could tell. And I realized at that point that this was like a room that had been designed to it was like a lounge. It was like a waiting room, but it was big. It was quite big, and had a bar on the left and a bar on the right. And I realized then and there that they had designed that room specific to make humans feel comfortable, like it was recognizable. A room was recognizable to them. And I thought, yeah, okay, well, that's definitely what it is. But there was a man reading this book, and I thought, I'm going to go over and see what was on his book. And one of the guys from the right, he came over, and that's the one that had the horns on the face. Set of horns on his forehead, set of horns on his cheekbones.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, gross.
And he came over, and he says to me, you can't go there. And at that point, my two tour guides had come over, and then I don't hear what they're saying, but they're communicating with each other. He looks over at me, he looks me up and down, he bobs his head like he's bowing to me, takes a step back, and then he turns and walks off. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, what's that about, Okay, so I get ushered out of the room, and we go down what I classify as a I guess a passenger boarding tunnel. You know when you go from the airport waiting rooms and and then you walk down that tunnel thing and you go to hop on your plane.
There's
Yeah.
They're like
You know
round.
the tunnel?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a passenger boarding tunnel. So I've walked down there, and then I phase out of that, and I'm walking down what looks to be like the Mayan temples in Mexico. So there's a path that I'm walking down, and I'm in this big glass dome. And as we're walking down, my tour guides are in front of me, and I'm looking around, and I realize I've got two temples to my left
and a giant temple to my right. And I'm like, that's really cool. But what got me was there was this gorilla, had a gorilla's body, but the head of a Yowie or a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, as you wish. Massive, massive head, but this body of a gorilla, and he was sitting down, and he was 2/3 the height of the temple. And I thought, man, like if he stood up, he would have been easily the height of the temple. And I thought, what? Like I'm thinking, okay, now I know I'm dreaming. Now I know I'm not actually in a trance, and I'm just imagining all of this because I'm thinking there's no way in the world that any of this could be real. But I'm still following through. And I'm looking at this thing, and he had like a beige blonde fur on him. It was blonde, but I'd realized that he was there actually guarding the temples. He was the guardian of the temples to keep them safe and to, you know, I just knew that he was the guardian of the temple.
Yeah.
So we keep walking up, and I'm at this temple, and we're standing at this kind of like a gateway thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were these like little comet things is the only way that I can describe it. It was almost like energy balls. They would start to like spin, and they would get really bright, and then they would pop, and they would shoot off like a comet with the comet's tail. And they were beautiful. And I'm standing at this doorway just looking at all these things that would just vibrate, and then they would vibrate, shoot, and all over this doorway. So at that point, I realized that was something sort of similar to a portal. And then I'm underwater. Now, this is the part that when I came out of my trance, I actually looked it up, and I learned something because I didn't know this was a thing. But I'm underwater, and I'm looking at, there's a starfish, and there's rocks, and there's the beaded seaweed floating. So that's how I knew I was underwater. And the beaded seaweed, and I thought, oh wow, that's really weird. Like, what I didn't know when I came out of the hypnosis and I looked it up was that temples were actually built over healing water sources, water baths. So that was really cool. Anyway, so I've gone into there. Now, as everyone understands, I've had long COVID for a very long time. And I actually, after having that hypnosis session, haven't had any issues with my health at all since I've been under that hypnosis session and went to that water source. So anyway, I phase out of that, and I've gone through, and I'm walking up this, what I could say was a metal ramp, and I've looked over the edge, and that's when I seen the wheel, the black sun, what my friend classified as the black sun wheel. So I'm trying to draw out, as it looked, it was like a circle in the middle, and it had all these arms sticking off and then these symbols at the end. So I'm trying to like get as much of this information as possible before they were kind of like, okay, you've got to come now. And there was aliens walking underneath the bridge, and I was like, oh, because by this stage I'm like, everything's aliens, get me out of here. And so I walk up this bridge into this room, and there's this machine there. It's about, I don't know, 1 meter high. And I walked straight up to it, and I started waving my hand over it like I knew I had to do something with my hand. And they've sort of looked at me, and they've said, hand on it. No, put your hand on it. And it was like this metal thing. And the surroundings of it had like these, I've got to find the word for it, but they sort of overlapped. If you look at like Sydney Harbour Bridge, you know how it goes up and peaks and then drops down? The Opera House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've got so it was kind of like that, but it was like, but it was just on this machine thing. And on top was this black screen. So I put my hand on the black screen, and the whole machine clamped over my hand, like folded in over my hand and locked my hand in. And I'm standing there, and I'm trying to pull it out, and they just looked at me, like shook their heads like, no, leave it. So at that point, I start feeling these pins and needle kind of effect underneath my hands. And I realized then that this machine is reading my biology and my DNA. So I left it there. Yeah. Anyway, so then one layer unfolds and the other layer still is on me, over my hand. And then I realized it was actually opening up. It was almost like it was getting my signature, getting my identification to verify.
Thumbprint, just like your phone does.
Yeah, it
So
was so
mine won't
weird.
read because I have anxiety. I chew on my fingers. I work really hard. So yeah, I really don't have a fingerprint. So go 1, 2, 3, then I just enter the code.
Yeah. Well, this was it was almost like it was I was the key. That's how it was. It was the weirdest thing. So anyway, this machine unfolds over my hand after the first layer had done its DNA and biology thing. And then it started to read who I was in order to open up this gateway. So anyway, this machine releases me. I'm good to go. I'm standing there kind of like waiting for these tour guides to walk me off. There's a big, it's just an open space in front, but it had been doors prior to that. But because my hand on that machine had unlocked that gateway. So I'm standing there ready to sort of start moving off to talk, and I'm talking to these my tour guides, and this woman comes over from behind, and she's got one of them elongated skulls that goes up, walks over with this, and I kid you not, it would have been a foot-long needle, and stabs me right here, like right between where the muscle meets your neck and where it goes soft in that little soft patch there where the muscle is. Stabs me right there. Boom,
Yeah,
straight down into me. Didn't see her coming. I was only right at the very last minute. I caught her at the corner of my eye as she was sort of leaning back. So quick. Anyway, so she's done that. I've walked off to go, and this man, it's misty. Everywhere was just thick mist. You could not see your hand in front of you. It was so thick. And I'm like, okay. This is where I'm like, I'm standing in this mist, and from the mist walks this man. Gorgeous, beautiful features, long white hair, a gem on his forehead like a crown, gem here like a crown.
Canadian.
It was, I later realized he was a Palladian. And he's standing there and he's looking at me like he's there to take me. And I've got my two little tour guides who I'm thinking, okay, well, we're all ready to go. They weren't allowed to come. And so anyway, they're having a discussion that I can't hear what they're saying. I felt like I was just a little child having a conversation with these, being the third wheel to adult conversations, Anyway, so I'm standing there. I can't hear what they're saying, but they're having a chat. And I go to walk off with the Palladian, and he's like this, come. And I'm standing there. I'm thinking, why aren't they coming? Like, why can't they come too? I don't want to go if they're not going. Like, yeah, I've been safe with them this whole time. Like, I don't know where you're taking me into this big thick mist. No thanks. Creepy. So anyway,
for that walk.
One of my tour guides walks up behind me and is like, basically, because they weren't allowed to actually walk across this boundary. It was like a boundary. They weren't allowed to cross it.
You're muted, Robert. You keep talking, but you're muted.
No, I haven't been talking.
It kept looking like you were saying something because you're leaning forward and your mouth was moving. Maybe you were talking to your mom. I don't know, but...
No. Keep going.
But we are over our time.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. If I could go to music break really quick, it really doesn't matter because we're doing our own thing, but we're trying to keep a certain timeline.
Do your timing.
It's got to be like Ruby Rod. Be like Ruby Rod. Commercial! All
right.
I'll finish it up when we come back. That's fine.
Yeah, and they can't hear the music over break, so we can keep talking. So just give me 1 second so I can just
gotta remember where we're up to.
Okay, you just said.
Yeah, you're in the fog and
I'm at the
smoke
mist.
coming out.
I'm in the mist.
You're in the mist.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no Jamie Lee Curtis to be seen.
No, damn it all. She's my hero.
Fog.
So on this break, we have Jeff Hilliard once again with Finger Bang Your Day. If you haven't heard this, definitely listen to it. Cock That Hills, Silicone Wave. Then we have Gravity from Krakow, Poland with Take a Walk in My Shoes. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break. All right, continue. In the mist.
So I'm in the mist and I'm being led out by this Palladian-looking man. And anyway, this second Palladian female comes from the mist and she goes like this to me. So I then start walking through the mist. I'm like,
She
right,
goes
I
like
gotta
what?
go
I'm
no
sorry,
matter
I
what.
missed it. Like this?
Yeah, just to direct me. So, you know, when you like
Okay.
put your hand out and you're like being directed. She didn't say anything. She just looks at me sort of like happily and just does that. And then so I start to walk through the mist. And then I sort of like I come and I'm looking sort of like I phased back in and I'm walking through this mist and it through the top of it I could see this canopy of trees. So I sort of beeline to the, you know, normality of it. And I'm in this tree line, my face starts to hurt, and I realize that I'm wearing a big helmet with rectangular eyes, like rectangular headpiece. It was like a rectangular headpiece. So, and I've got this mask on, and I turn around, and as I turn around, I look at these little village people, like they were shorter than me. Well, they were my height when I first was there, but then I stood up, and I was like a giant. I wasn't like their height.
You're like,
And
what? Yeah, because
but
you're
then
like
I
squatting
realized
at
as I
first.
looked around, I'm part of an army, and all these other giants with helmets on, you know, like, and we were all armored up. And I look around to my right, and there's these little people, like not little people, they were humans, but shorter than me, so they were little. And I'm looking at this canyon. It was like all these glacier rocks with really pointy ridges on the tops of the mountain. So it was like glacier rocks.
Well, here we
And
have one. It's called Angel Rocks. And at first you come around this part of it, and it looks like all these canyons, etc., turned into, it looked like an angel. And then when you go past it, it looks like little babies of an angel. So I don't know, that kind of reminds me of that. Because it's like, at first it's an angel, and then all of a sudden it's little baby angels. So it's the angel rock, then little baby rocks. I don't know. It's pretty weird how they form like that.
yeah,
Could be
no,
because of ocean currents and such when we were underwater, but
could it be what? Sorry?
I said, could it be from when we were all underwater and all the ocean currents and etc. that shaped these things? And now that we're not underwater, like we have these formations, because how else is it there unless somebody actually physically formed it? But a lot of it is due to nature.
You've thrown me for a six, so I don't know where you've gone with that.
Oh, like shapes in the rocks.
No, I think they're just formed like that. It just depends on what the rock is, but these are all glacier rocks, so ice. You know, that's where the ice. I don't know.
Well, like I know, like up
I think they
north
just form
and
like
down
that.
south, like where you and Robert are, and where Sandra and everybody else is, like there's been glaciers, there's been formations. Like even down here from glaciers, we've had formations of canyons and other things. But as far as like these very intricate formations of rocks, I think it could be like could be
down the
glaciers.
tectonic plate thing. Tectonic plates can create glaciers as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just depends on how it moves.
Yeah, and I think
there's
just
Yoshi.
erosion.
clairvoyant Rose in the chat room wanting to know if you can see the comments, Jani.
I can't see
Oh,
comments.
yes.
No.
That's what I think.
Okay, so if you go over to Facebook to my page, that's where it is on Facebook.
And
But
What's
yeah,
that?
Angela, your
as well.
sister.
Sorry?
Robert. Continue what you were saying. I'm sorry, I was talking over you. I apologize.
Me?
No, Robert.
Oh,
So
I
Robert
was
was telling
saying that
you.
clairvoyant Rose is saying, okay, you can add me. That was about 35 minutes ago to Tessa. And then she says, I got people here saying they're psychics. And then she asks Jenny if she can see her comments. BFF.
I can't see. No, I
BFF
can't see
is
her comment.
Angela. Yeah, go to
Hello,
Facebook.
I said.
Oh, you're
Hello,
on
I
your
said
phone
hi,
though.
bestie.
Yes.
Hi, my
I did
bestie.
that earlier.
Okay, so where was I at? I'm right. So I've got to get these people through the village. So I'm trying to that was my job to get, and that was the army's job. We'd gone and rounded up all these people, and we were taking them to this village, and in this village was cobblestones, black cobblestones everywhere. The walkways, the houses, the church, the floor, everywhere was just black basalt cobblestones. Now, I didn't know that it was black basalt until yesterday when we found out that we were able to track down the rock. Anyway, breathe. So I'm phased out of that, and I'm in this village, and this village is actually inbuilt into the side of a mountain. Okay. Freaked me out because I was like, how did they do this? Like the geniusness of this. It was amazing. And it's this big castle. It's like a castle, but it's a city. Okay. And it's built into the side of this mountain. Now, I'm looking down and I'm seeing like the beautiful green lands and then how they've built. So there's like a bit of a curve in the mountain when you go to this particular platform, and you could see where the mountain curves around and how they've built the city into this mountain. And anyway, there was one part there was like this church. I'm looking at the church. There's the big cross at the top of it, and I turn around. I'm in this courtyard, and there's a like a stage on the other side. And then as I get closer, as I'm walking closer to it, I realize that there's a guillotine off the side of one side of it. There's a bed in the center, and there's those timber things that you'd put your arms and your head in and they'd chop your head off.
Yeah, the stock. You're gonna go
yeah,
to the
that.
stock then.
Yeah.
I always thought of stock as something delicious, but that's not so delicious.
Yeah, so they had one of them and on this table, and then I realized the closer that I got, the staining on the timber flooring on the stage.
Ew.
And I was like, nah, I don't want to be here anymore. Like I was kind of done then and there. And I pretty much phased out. And as I was at that point, my hypnotherapy session was kind of like, okay, draws me back, brings me back out. I thought I was only under for like maybe an hour. It's just what I thought, 40 minutes to an hour. I was under for 2.5 hours going through that entire session and just pulling out as much information that I possibly could. Now, the crux of that whole thing was when I just unplug my phone. It keeps overheating. The crux of that whole weirdness was going back to my drawings. If I could turn my screen around, I really can't, so I won't. But when you look at my drawing, right? Look at that. Where are we at? Are you there? Can you see that? Can you see
Yeah, we can see.
the drawing? Right. If I get that really close, can you see that particular drawing?
Yeah, it's the side of the house. Or building. That's the
The
building.
castle
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
built into the mountain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's the glacier peaks that I was getting those people through from the tree line.
Yeah.
There's the comet thing that was in that gateway. These are the patterns that were on the that one there as well, that were on the pylons in the studio. That was the drawing that I did on the 27th of February this year. So like
Well,
have
last year
had
now.
only for us because
Download
we're in
after
the future.
download after download, and it's been overwhelming because it's like so many things have been happening, and it's like like you get this rebuild, you get this download, you get this rebuild, you get this download. Like so many things are happening. It's insane. And
There's
then
my
outside stresses.
I drew it all out. So there's my the aliens in the trench, and I was walking over that bridge to go onto the mothership. That's the room where the alien on the floating bed. Can you see them? I'm
Kind of
not sure.
looks
I
like a
haven't seen them.
boat. He's like me.
That's the room. That's the man. That's what he looked like with the horns, big teeth.
Totally goth.
There's the gorilla, the yowie with the yowie head, but the gorilla.
Just the shape. It's a weird shape. It's kind of almond shape, but not quite.
Yeah, he was weird. Not that I'm really good. That's the little comets. They were big. They were big. That's before I went into the healing bath. That was the machine that I put
I
my
don't
hand in.
know, but I'm getting vibrations off that last picture you showed me. It's weird.
These are the wheels. That's the wheel that I looked over the side of the ramp, the bridge. And as I was drawing it, I was like trying to draw off. You get one, do a line, and then I would do the symbol, do a line, and I would copy the symbol, do a line, I would copy the symbol, copy the symbol. It was just
So
really
we need
weird
a
how it
lot
was
of
coming in.
coke for this one. I'm just kidding.
There's the Palladian.
Oh my goodness.
It's me in the tree line. There's my mask, my helmet. Yeah. There's the cobblestone church. And these are some of the signs. Like the other. That's just one. That was just one journey that I took. And the other one I took, I had found a giant concrete. It was like a giant concrete book. And Richie had said to me, what does it say on it? Can you read it? And it was written out. It was a massive
So you're
book, and it
saying
was
like instead of pages, it's tablets because tablets are thicker. You say it's concrete. Does that mean it's tablets?
It was embedded in the mountain. It was actually on the mountain, and it was massive. Like I was looking down on it from where I was. I couldn't see the other part of the book. I could only see probably 1.5 of it being opened. And so as I got closer, and I mean, this was massive. Like it was the size of a football field. It was huge, huge book. And in it was just these big letters, written letters. And that's the ones that I showed you earlier about what, I'll go and get it. These ones here. That's when I started to pull these ones. Like the U's. How can you see that? Yeah. And that's what my friend said she found, that it might be ancient alien. Anyway.
Yeah, I gotta send you some of the stuff I found on Sanskrit during Easter, but yeah, it's amazing what is on tablets, what's on Sanskrit, what's on golden plates, Where the fuck is it? I don't care. Even if it's like burnt parcels of paper, I want to
Who's
know.
on second? I don't know. On third.
What, Robert?
I said, who's on second? I don't know. What's on third?
Yes, I want to know everything, like from A to
Mm.
B or P to W. I don't freaking care. I just want to know everything.
Yeah, I don't. It's just really like, it's really daunting. Like someone like me who's like, I've got an open mind to a lot of things,
Mhm.
but I'm one of those, I've got to see it to believe it. And even though I have seen an alien and this whole rigmarole, I've seen a mothership out at Toowoomba.
Mhm.
Or heading out towards Toowoomba, I've I've had enough experiences to know that they're real, and I've seen an alien in the bush. Like I know that they're real, but I don't know. We're sort of questioning now. Why do I have this hesitation? And it's a strong hesitation to want to go down that rabbit warren. And I think
Not yet, not quite ready.
Because there are different aliens, and some aren't good. Some are.
Because there's something big about to happen, and we're not
Yeah.
ready for it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Apparently, from judging by what we've pulled from it. And from this information, this is a lot of information, a lot of downloads that I'm getting. And I've been getting them for 3 years. And this isn't something that
It's like, cut it out. I don't want to know.
well, I've had a lot of visions and stuff. And like, while we were doing the TOF tablets, and I had that, what I was saying before, no, this goes back prior to that.
Hi, Angela.
Ava.
Hi. Sorry.
Welcome. No worries. Don't be sorry. Continue, Johnny. But yes, Angela is in.
Hi, Angela. So going back 3 years ago, I went through a series, as we usually do, having dreams, premonitions, global premonitions, like all the super volcanoes are going off. I was having earthquakes going off, tsunamis going off. Fire, like cities. I would have consistent dreams about cities were burning and fire was taking out all these major towns and flooding and all this sort of stuff. And so one of those dreams actually turned out to be one of the towns that flooded in, what's the name of it? Down south of Lismore. The Lismore floods that happened last year or this year, last year for us now. So a lot of that, a lot of my stuff was starting to come into fruition. But at that same point 3 years ago, I was getting those premonitions of these symbols that I couldn't understand, like I was saying earlier. And I had basically had, it was enough to rattle me. It wasn't just we've just had a dream, or we're having a week of dreams, or we're having a series of dreams.
You know the difference. It feels different.
Yeah. This was continuous. So for like a year and a half, I was just consistently getting smashed with information. And I'm like, what does this mean? What does it represent? And I'm still at this point trying to build my business as well. So I was kind of rattled. I was really rattled, and I was throwing myself into work. Then it was 2009, 2020, 2021. I'm at work and I'm cleaning. It was 21 last year. And I'm at work and I'm cleaning and I'm, spraying chemicals with one hand and I'm wiping off with the other. And I get the smack at the back of my head and I'm like, what was that? And I realized that it was
when that happened.
It was actually, yeah, it is. It's like, what it's like. Hey, you get a and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I recognized that symbol. And then I realized that it was one of my symbols that I dreamt about 2 years before. So I'm like, okay, well, that's really weird, but ignore it. Don't think much about it. I'm really exhausted one day and I'm in the shower. I just finished work. I'd come off I'd done 14 or 16 hour day, but I was beat. I was wrecked. When you're that exhausted that you're just numb. So I'm standing in the shower, hot shower, the steam, the windows are all fogged up, water droplets trickling down. And I'm just standing there trying to debrief myself. And I watch this water trickle drop from the screen, right? Slowly. And it was one of those ones that caught my attention. And I watched it trickle down, trickle down, trickle down. And then it starts going sideways across my shower screen.
Like, what
And
the
I'm
fuck?
so numb and exhausted that I recognize that this, even hitting the water, should have dropped by now. But I'm so exhausted, I'm still mentally watching this thing travel across my shower. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a little weird. This is too weird. And then it goes up.
Upwards. Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Honey, that's where I'm
as
out.
soon as
I'm
that happened,
gone.
a second tricklet comes running down the middle, and then I'm like, I'm out.
Oh my
That's when I
God.
realized this is a paranormal situation. I'm really numb. I'm like at risk of attack and all sorts. I'm just too exhausted to be dealing with this shit right here, right now. I'm out. Turn the shower off, get out. I'm like, okay, no, I need to gather myself. Get on the phone to my friend Anna Smith, who's a witchy. She's one of my witchy friends. Babe, need your help. Need to go under hypnosis. Put me under. It's starting to happen. About a week later, I've got the mini meat pies. I'm at a little birthday party and I got a mini meat pie and I pour sauce on my pie. Boom, smack at the back of the head. It was another symbol.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I said to her, these things are starting to come. What was happening in my dreams are now starting to come out into my life. Like, this isn't a deja vu thing. This is happening. Like, whatever it is, it's needing my attention and it's giving me everything I need. What I didn't know at the time was they were my keys, my personal keys to unlock things. Okay. But while I'm telling people, I'm also doing these symbol signs, not realizing that I'm actually just opening gateways, opening little areas that I'm now diving into. So we get this information. She puts me under hypnosis. She said I had mentioned something about aliens, and then but I remember this part very clearly. I'm standing with my guides. You can tell I don't like alien things because I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm standing with my guides and they've walked me over and presented me just to wait. And I'm standing there and I'm in the void, so it's all black, dark. And there's a Egyptian lady standing there. She gets walked in by these 4 girls. She stands in the center. She's got a big brass crown on. She's got this little, like, really long green, like emerald green colored, not even emerald, it's like a dark green colored suede
It's emerald,
thing.
emerald.
Yeah. And she walks in, this big tall lady, like she was about 17 foot tall, and big nose, dark skin, like black, big eyes, big nose, black lady, walks in, looks me up and down and goes, not ready yet. Turns and walks off. And I'm like, I'm literally, like, I'm just down. I turn and I look at my guides and I'm like, ready for what? I don't know what you've got going on, but you need to share the memo because this is not okay. So then from there, so then I'm fast forwarding from that hypnotist session, and then there's Richie. Hi, Richie.
Hello,
my hypnotherapist. From there, I fast forward to Richie and I were doing. Richie's part of that Toth tablet conversation that I was having, and he was the one who I had drawn out that symbol when I was explaining to him about what had happened with the Egyptian lady through the hypnosis session. And I've drawn out what it looked like because he's like, what does it look like? So I've drawn it out for him. And then my ear starts to ring and it illuminates like it's like the volume. And Richie's like, I'm going to go and take a leak. I'll be back in a minute. Why don't you drop in? And I'm like, cool. Sounds like a fair idea. No. I literally dropped in. I'm presented in front of that Egyptian lady again. And I start to rise. Have you ever seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. I've gone from being my little human height, and then I start rising to the point where, and really quickly too. And I'm looking at this 17-foot tall lady at eye level, and then I realize I'm growing taller than her, and I'm looking down at her. She smirks, this tiny little smirk starts to turn, and I realized I had to follow her, and so I did. I follow her. I end up on another planet. I've got a ship next to me. I'm tall, like I'm just really tall. I've got these two aliens walking over to me, and one of them with its long cankly fingers walks over, touches me on the shoulder, and goes, pretty much, welcome home, brother. And I'm like,
Get
the
your fucking
fuck?
phalanges off of me.
Yeah, and cankly fingers too, like that. And I looked
you're
down
like,
and I realized I'm blue. I'm an alien. I'm blue. I'm like, and I'm looking at their cranium. It was like this really
I heard that
tall.
song.
It was fucking horrible. Excuse the language.
I know. I don't mean to make a joke about it, but it just popped up in my brain stem. But yes, I totally get it. Like,
It was just
cool,
so then I
not
pulled out.
happy, totally invasive, very fucked up fucking situation. That's how I
pull
deal
out.
with stress.
I'm just like,
I make
no,
jokes.
I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game. So all in all, that's when Richie, when I came back out, and he's like, so how'd you go? And I was just like, oh, like burying my hands in my face. I'm just like, I don't like, I cannot believe where I just went. Like I was just freaking out, and I freaked out for days and days after that. Like I couldn't, I wasn't functioning. I'm thinking, this is too surreal. This is too much. This is not normal. I can't deal. I still can't deal with it.
Acceptance.
Hey, because, you know, when you look at, this is a 3-year journey. It's all coming to a head now. During that session, I was also getting visions of me being walked onto I had 5 bodyguards and a person behind me. I don't know if that person was a bodyguard as well. But they were plainclothed bodyguards. And we were all walking onto a plane that I knew was destined for America, because I was going to do speeches, and it was to help people. And I recently had another vision where I'm standing in a gridiron stadium, and there's thousands of people, and every seat was filled, and I've got a microphone in my hand. So like they're still coming, like the visions are still coming, the visions are still there. And everything that was the process is all happening.
It's happening right now. We can't help it. It's like bam, bam, bam. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. It's horrible.
It's like
it's,
waves,
you know,
on the beach.
if I did, you know, Richie's been a massive help, like in the sense of keeping me grounded was a massive thing.
I want to make sure we get to Angela first, even though I love Richie to death. But Angela, did you have anything to say about what we're talking about right now?
Well, I came late into the show, but I got a little bit of where, is it Jani or Jani? I apologize.
It's Jani.
Jani.
I thought it was Jani too at first, but it's Jani.
Everyone gets it mixed up. It's okay. Yeah, it's Jani.
It's nice to meet you.
Me too.
I have some questions, if that's all right.
Of course.
I'm picking up some symbols that you were talking about, and I was wondering if any of them look like a diamond within a diamond, and then it switches back like left to right, and then there's a like a falcon almost, or a bird like in the middle.
Phoenix.
Yeah, a phoenix could be.
My last one, So Richie here is my
Yeah.
hypnotherapist, and he's the one who he takes all the notes. So stuff that I don't remember, he's written down. I do know
So-
that there was a diamond one that was in my last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was just about to say, because there was a
Yeah.
couple that had come through where you were mentioning that there was layers to it. So there was like the ones where they're overlapping. But as far as
Yeah.
like the eagle and a hawk, they've both come up in the last 2 sessions very consecutively. And the last one, there's a lot to do. Not so much this one, but the one prior, there was a lot to do with the eye and the all-seeing eye sort of thing. But it was almost like, have you mentioned about the little the little pink fluffy things that were going back into the eye?
Dude, I've heard that in the astral realm from so many people. They're kicking the ass of little pink people. Like they're little pink fluffy peoples. And they're kicking their ass. I'm like, that's badass, I guess. Robert, I think he was there back in the day too. And now it still is today. Richie, that blows me away.
Okay.
I don't think I haven't had a symbol where I don't recall at least where there is an animal inside it. The only one that has come up that's like that, actually, now that I think about it, was in the sword.
Okay.
I had
I'm just
one
seeing.
of the swords. So another thing that I've noticed too, there's a sword that keeps being presented to me, and it's
S word.
Does it have an
What?
eye at the hilt, at the very top of the hilt?
Does it have an eye?
An eye?
Yeah,
or
like
an
a globe with an eye that can spin, like it rotates.
Like a eye.
And because I've been dreaming about that for many, many years.
Yeah,
It
it's
was a
like the
sword
old
that
same eye, but different.
I was a curator back in 1920s, and I was exiting the museum, and I was shot dead by gangsters in a 1920s sort of vehicle. They drove by and Tommy gunned me to death. But I was guarding
That's really
that
cool.
sword.
Take that, just saying.
So if that was the sword that you were given, it might be Alan.
No, it's I know that in one of the I'll have to see if I can find it on my script. Oh, I can't be bothered. But it's where'd you go? Where are you? Did I kick myself out again? No.
You're still here.
No, on one of the swords yeah, we probably need to book more so than anything. But I know that in one of them there is like a diamond shape inside the sword. You know where the handle grips are and the plate part. So it's not like
it's like right in the
now they have
center,
that.
like where the
Well, it's like a
handle is.
teeny
It's
sword.
like there's an eye.
where the sword comes out.
The sword comes down to the grip. There's an eye, and then there's the handle. Is that what you guys are seeing? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off, but it was right in the middle.
Yeah, it's in that area, and inside it was a I can't remember what it was.
Emerald.
I thought there was a line involved.
I'm not seeing the stone though. When I'm seeing the diamond, like I said, it's like
I think there's a diamond in the center of an emerald.
That was in the crown. There was a crown. There was like a crown that I got that had diamonds in it.
Seeing that sword, there's a diamond, and after that is an emerald stone, like the iris, and then it's like
it had emerald stone in
or
it.
something, and then it could be platinum, gold, or whatever the fuck they're using. Steel.
Okay.
And
was there any name given during this time? Because I keep hearing Serena.
So
the sword from the last one was that Sherlock, so that's where the Sheba comes into play. So she ended up being the guide in the last one that we did a couple of days ago.
Serena.
It sounds like that. Serena or Sharina. Somehow
it's not really cool. It's now I do have to get up and get it.
Sherlock
It's
or Charlotte. something like that. I think it was.
No, it was
Sharina.
Tessa,
Kind of like Shira, but Sharina.
Tessa, did we ever come out from break?
Yeah, we did.
From the reading? Good. Just making sure.
Thank you.
I didn't hear anything.
We only have T-minus 15 minutes and counting before the end of the show. But
I know. That's what I'm saying. Did we come out?
Yeah, I already deleted all this shit. We're all good to go. Thank you, my lovely assistant.
So it's Shialik. Shialik.
Okay.
And it came, it was Shialik was her name, but her nickname was Sheba.
Okay. I'm not always on target, but I apologize for interrupting.
No, you're on the right line.
That's fine.
Never apologize.
No. You can't help what you get.
The other interesting bit for me for that was as soon as that came into play and she mentioned Sheba, in my head I'm like, oh, I want to see if black cats come up into play. And sure enough, it did in one point because she was like, okay, I can see it's nighttime and it's like I can see snowy mountain peaks and they're really, really sharp peaks. And you're like, I feel like I'm a cat. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, look at your hands. And you're like, yeah, I'm a black mountain cat. And I'm like, cool. Like, this is like on point.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to somebody about last week because they were talking about the Rocky Mountains or whatever and over in the Ozarks. And I'm like, I remember so many times going through the pig trail. It's like here, there, and there, everywhere. It's so windy. How can you not get car sickness? But twice I saw a black panther. And even my big brother saw it. And people were like, Black Panthers don't exist in America. And I'm like, yeah, the fuck they do. Because I saw it and my big brother saw it. And it was like there and it was like about to go across, but it was like pounced down and it was like making eye contact. And you can see it like the yellow in the eyes and then the red, like from the reflection or refraction of the light. We saw it. It exists. And I don't know if it's because people that owned wildcats or it's just there. Like we have mountain lions in Colorado. Why not black panthers in Arkansas? I don't know. Just because they say it doesn't exist, it does. Okay, maybe those are leopards. To me, it's a black panther.
Yeah. That one was actually quite a weird session too. That was like getting all the elements like earth, air, fire, and water. Hey, because I'd seen fire during that hypnosis session, and it was a big fire in Arizona that'll sweep through Arizona in 2025. Was it 25, Richie? I think it was 25. I was underwater during that session. I could communicate with whales and the ocean life down there. It was so weird. Like these things are like really, really weirding me out.
It's like that George Strait song, Oceanfront Property in Arizona.
Ocean. Oh, I don't know. It's been like, I mean, what do you make of that? Is it like past life regression stuff? Because
could be. I've got a friend that's got she's regressed herself back to Atlantean times when Atlantis fell, and she remembers being underwater when it fell, so possibly. Yes, Magpie, I hear you.
Yeah. Like, please feed me some meat.
Every time that we do a session, I will take what the information is, and then we study it, and we'll go and we find like the amount of stuff I've learned. Like I didn't know that they had built temples over healing water, healing baths. You know, that was pretty cool because then to me that was the biggest validation point that what I was going through, what was happening was actually really happening. And it's not just a part of my imagination that I've just gone down and made up during a hypnosis session, you know, like You just
Well,
got to
when you
get
said
that
that
validation.
about the pyramids, here, Native American land, they have called these sacred waters. They have things built around them. And then there's also different hotels. I believe it's the Crescent Hotel in Arkansas, where they told people, hey, you have cancer, you have this, you have that, come here, we have the healing waters. So that they not only use the healing baths, but the psychotic doctor had his own formula that he'd inject into people. But yeah, a lot of places have been built off of healing waters, and yes, they are healing. They even sell it to where you can drink it and get those certain minerals, but it's insane.
It was so clear. I could see each granulated bit of sand underneath me. It was beautiful. And I haven't, and everyone knows I've had long COVID. You know, this time last year I
Me too.
had COVID, my first stage of COVID. And I got the Delta strain, so I got really sick. And then in February, 1st of February, I had the heart attack, had the blood clots through my lungs, and then have suffered ridiculously ever since. Like all year, I've been in and out of hospital, mild stroke symptoms or my neurological symptoms. I had to rechange and restructure my signature because even my writing changed. My neurological motor skills had been affected. And so when I went under that and went through that, they put me into that when I was after the temple, and they put me into that healing water. I was in this water and I was like looking around. I was swimming around this healing water. And what I didn't realize, when I come out of it, I was okay. Like I felt normal. I felt fine. And the next day I felt really good and felt fine. And the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. Now I've been getting heart palpitations every single day. And it varies as to some days I'll be like, maybe I need to call an ambulance today, to, you know, other days where I'm, you know, just mild symptoms. Ever since
Right.
that hypnosis session, I have not had any health issues at all to date. And that was 4 weeks ago now. Nothing. I've not had a single heart palpitation. I've not had a single neurological issue. I've done my signature. I can rewrite my signature like that overnight. And I am certain it was because of those baths, even though I didn't physically hop in it. Weird, right?
Right. Well, before we get to Richie, which I really, really want to, Angela, did you have anything to add?
I'll let Richie go ahead. I mean, he's probably has more to go along with what Jani has to say.
Angela, he's my hypnotherapist. He's the one who puts me under.
He's so positive, and I just love the messages that he has to give. And when I was talking earlier, where like everything seems dark and humdrum, he comes through with this bright and brilliant message that puts you back on your path. So, Richie, take it away.
Thank you. I'm just me. I guess I'm just that little person. I don't necessarily think like everyone else, and I think that's what makes me unique in being able to see certain things that some people don't see, which I think is awesome. Especially when we get so caught up in ourselves in life as well. And I think, you know, going to the Jani situation with everything she's got going on, it's a lot to take in. And yes, I will go on backwards and forwards of acceptance, and it's her favorite word, isn't it, Jani?
Play nice. Play nice.
Acceptance. No, that's what I was trying to tell somebody today, because they're like, oh, did you see this video about Mormonism? And I'm like, hey, I'm a Jack Mormon. I've been there. I've actually done services, and they're trying to say it's not Christianity. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, well, it's pre-Civil War, so it don't count. And I'm just like, okay, so our name is not God. We are not here to judge. So just shut the fuck up. I hope you find peace. I hope you find happiness in this world, but you need to quit your shit. As long as you're following God or Jesus or whatever, like that's all you should really worry about right now. do unto others as you would have done unto you, like positive light, love, energy, whatever. Like that to me is what's most important at this point. And a lot of people don't get it. They're so diluted by judge, judge, judge. Like, you're doing wrong here, you're doing wrong here. Look at the right. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a big thing. Like, well, I feel from a young age, we're very much taught how to be in the negative mindset frame of, you know, don't touch the oven, you're going to burn your hand, or no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. So our blueprint from the get-go is literally wired for negativity. So then in this day and age, when we incorporate how many kids sit in front of an iPad or some form of a screen, there's all that aspect. So therefore, you're also then losing your aspect of connection and quality time and being out in nature as well, and learning or teaching kids to be able to connect with the elements.
Connectivity.
And all these sort of things as well. We're connected, you know, in the physical thing of some form of social media platform as opposed to elemental connection. But yeah, everyone is quite easy to judge instead of just being in their own lane and worrying about themselves. So hopefully this year will be a year where people turn more internal, utilize their intuition a bit more and listen. And my biggest thing for a lot of people is pretty much just do 1% of something that's going to benefit you. Do something for your mind, your body, and your soul. Because if you think about it, on average, most businesses will only have about 15 to maybe 45% growth. If you do 1% of something that's going to benefit you each day for a whole year, that's 365% growth. That is phenomenal.
That's reshaping and retuning old tapes to new tapes. Even it's, you know, those cognitive thought processes that you go through. It also goes into you know, cracking habits. Just one thing a day is enough to crack that habit. You know, after a month or two, you won't realize it, but boom, there it is. You know, and you've mastered that. Like, I'm a firm believer of that too, Richie. I really, you know, reshaping
It takes time.
your cognitive, your psychic, you know, what is it called?
Psychic cognition.
Yeah, like just retraining the brain. Like I did that. I had to go through all of that. You know, we're from tapes of being a child to going into adult life, where you just reprogram, you know, those positive affirmations sort of thing, the reprogramming the tapes.
Renew the positive.
Yep. It builds into your self-belief system at the end of the day. Like, everyone can say how amazing you are and everything else, and affirmations and stuff, they can be cheap. But until you believe them in yourself, though, that's where the shift happens.
Yep. That's when it's like, bam, bam, bam. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. No, it's pretty awesome. Angela, I'm so glad you joined. Richie, I'm so glad you're back. I don't know. Angela, where are you from? Because Richie, he's like from the future, and then you're... Where are you at?
I'm in Indiana. And I started, well, Robert, and you obviously know me from years ago, but Robert was telling me that you were talking about our portal experiences that we had here before.
Yep.
I thought that was
I was actually talking about my daughter's portal, where she's like, there was a portal, and it was like, what? Like, things started to happen. It's insane how that happens. I did want to get on the Mandela effect, the London Hammer, the cloud in China, the Cloud City in China. But yeah, you know, your China, all these other things. We'll talk about that next time. But I'm so grateful, Angela, Richie, Robert, Jani. I'm so glad you guys were here. It was an awesome, epic show for real.
Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. Anytime.
I also want to thank all of our listeners on We Are Paradox Media's Skype, Facebook. I'm trying to look at it right now. We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, KPNL Radio, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse, because we can't forget BTO. Had a wonderful time this evening, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night. I perhaps may doing story time with me, TessaTNT. Otherwise, Mia, if she's done pulling the kid out of the goat, maybe she'll join me because she has some stuff going on from Zach Baggins Museum in Las Vegas. That was pretty freaky deaky, but you guys, I just want you guys to not forget we are all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Until next time, nighty night, love and light. Take care of my yous, and I will see you back here, same crazy time, same crazy place. Anywho's, continue. I just had to finish my show.
Sign out.
Over and out. Bye.
Jani, what color was the water that you were healing in?
Clear.
It's clear. Okay.
Very clear.
Ew. I'm seeing like there's a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue on the clear.
No, that was the comet. That was the they were at that portal entrance, and the little comet things, the comet tails, they were like aqua blue and pink.
Mm. Yeah, that's right. And that was like spurting out everywhere.
Do you remember anything that you were smelling?
Oh, that's an important question.
No, I didn't smell. A lot of them I couldn't feel too much on my skin. I just knew the air on that planet when I went up after I'd met the Egyptian lady and became an alien.
Ew.
I remember that planet. There was the sun was really bright. I could feel myself, but most of the time I'm not really feeling. A lot of it's really just observing. I did feel when I had my hand in the machine, I felt them prickling under my fingers when it was reading my DNA and my biology.
Mm.
I felt the prickling under my fingers.
Down as well.
I felt when she stabbed me with that needle. But smell-wise, no, nothing's really.
There was one time and it was there for like a split second. You're like, oh, something doesn't smell right, and you sort of just went like that, and then you're off to the next thing. I'm trying to remember what that was even for now. Right. If I was at my house and I had my book in front of me, I'd be able to open it up and pull it all out.
No, I don't recall.
I think.
What's the? Does a number come to mind like 12?
So, I'm sorry, say it again because it's sort of breaking up a bit my end.
Sorry, my daughter just texted me and it probably messed up my mic. Does the number 12 come up at all?
Yeah. So there was 12 arms on this particular symbol. I could only draw 8 of them. But one of my friends who rang me yesterday had explained that she thinks that part of that wheel that had 8 arms to this wheel, and she said that she thinks that that's called the Black Sun. What's known to be the Black Sun. She's not sure that you could. She's right into the aliens. She's right. She gets so she does all the podcasts. She's right up with it. She's been out to the ranch where they have all the UFO sightings. She's met a lot of the high profile alien people that she around America as well as in Australia. She just liaises. She's good friends with them all, so she gets a lot of the information given to her that they come across, and she can't even begin to. She's like whenever I need information regarding aliens, I just go to her. I have a couple of people who are interested in aliens. I just never was.
till now. Till it's forced upon me. But 12, that number 12 did come up for that. That's the real, that was the amount of arms that come out of this circle. Arms, I guess, it's basically a circle. Oh, I'll show you because I don't think you were in, Angela, that. Oh. Let me just. That's the animal one.
It's more like spokes or spigots coming out. That's what I picked up on. Anyway.
Would they what you're saying that they were in a circle, or were they like?
I'll get it up. I'll show you. I've got them. I just got to go through. There's a lot of paperwork, Doll, you can see.
It's very much like your bicycle sort of wheel with all your spokes.
What's that?
But if you was to see like how a bicycle would have like a double layer of spokes, where if I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, that they would almost look diamond.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like.
I'm on my phone, so I'm having a hard time seeing.
That's what it looks like. So it's basically when I was under, I had to draw. There you can see where I've drawn it out. So it's basically like just drawing a line, and then I would draw the symbol, draw the line, and do the symbol that I was picking up on. Draw the line and get the other symbols. So when I've come out, I've done it as I remembered seeing it.
Tess,
Now
can
this
you make her?
should have 12. This should have 12 arms coming off it. But this one's only got 8 because that's all that I could draw.
Yeah, I think it goes in between the,
Okay.
this way,
Sorry?
way. Those. Okay, so between the northeast, northwest, north, south, whatever, in between those 4 right there is where the others are supposed to go.
Now you believe that you were on a different planet at this time?
I know that after, like Richie and I were doing the Toth tablet, and when he said to me, when my ear started to ring and I dropped in,
ask you that question too, because I was hearing a little bit of a high pitch ring.
I'm sorry, it's coming. Is anyone else getting it broken up, or is it just me?
I think it's you. You can hang up and come back to see if it will re-clear. But yeah, that's what I hear all the time in my ears.
All right, I'll do that because it's really annoying. I can.
Hopefully, I'm not
coming out like a robot.
So I can feel my phone.
All right.
Yeah. There's definitely something up with my technology today because my phone feels like it's overheating.
Yeah, that's what she was saying earlier. She was putting her phone on ice because she felt like it was overheating. So it makes me wonder, is there like some sort of solar flare or something happening right now?
Well, the funny thing is there's a situation that we'd worked with a friend of hers that's actually done a lot of para stuff in the past. And she's got someone there who he enjoys playing with technology. And I had a situation with my phone and I said what I needed to say and called him out basically. And when that happened, everything stopped. So I'm just wondering now if that's happening. This is why my phone's now all of a sudden heating up. And
no, I'm just wondering because you guys are kind of like in the same realm. So could it be a solar flare that is affecting?
I know there was a solar flare that was due to hit. Yeah, there's a solar flare due to hit us now.
I think we're in a retrograde, and that will mess up some technology. Ooh.
Well, there's been all kinds of BAMs going on with the sun. Like, it's like, pshoo, pshoo, pshoo. All kinds of solar flares. It's meant to hit the earth. I don't know where it's meant to, but yeah.
There was a big one that was due to hit now.
Johnny and Ricky said.
31st and the 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
When it's coming.
I need to grab my sweater. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I know I just stepped out, but I'll be right back. It's just
That's okay. Angela, what was your question? Sorry. So you said it was number 12, and then you asked another question after that?
We were talking about the wheel, and it looked like it had spokes. Like everything was off, but there's a dimension to this, and this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. I think you went into a lateral dimension. This is what I'm hearing was what where
Okay.
how am I have a hard time translating what it is. I'm no scholar. I'm not good with with technical terms, okay? But
That's okay. Just describe what you know, because then I'll obviously be able to connect to that as well.
okay.
But yeah, just describe what you sort of see as in what you're seeing.
Okay. I've seen the 12. I've seen the diamonds. And the smell, though, I have a smell, and it's not sulfur, and it's not perfumey. It's a different kind of smell. I can't even describe it. It's like I said, it's not like a flower smell, and it's not a sulfur smell. It smells like
Okay, no.
like coal. Does that make sense?
Like coal, did you say? COAL?
Yeah, coal. But
Okay.
it's not sulfur like. It's like or a metal, like a metallic, but I can't explain it. Have you ever smelled charcoal?
Like a rusty metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week we were walking a dog, and she's like, "What is that smell? It smells so nasty." And I'm like, "It's the coal fire." And she's like, "That doesn't smell like coal." And I'm like, "No, it's been burning for so long. It's like this sulfuric smell."
I'm not smelling sulfur like that, but yeah, but I might be. See, we have more than one person on the panel, so I could be picking up off of anybody. I apologize for that. It's been a long time since I've tapped.
Could be my phone burning up.
I haven't done.
I didn't get any smells per se. When I was on that planet, though, when I realized I was an alien and I looked down and seen myself as a blue, tall, got cankly fingers, all that. I was
Don't be a cankly thing.
It's so gross. I just I was on that planet, and the sun was different. The sun was different. The air felt different. The air felt like it was like silk. And if you've ever swam in like saline water,
yeah,
it kind of felt like that. It kind of felt like the air was, but it was so fresh. It was so clear and clean. It's like I've never never. Sorry?
Like 4K clear, crystal clear, like
Crystal clear.
But it's like
Crystal clear. Pardon?
But you can feel it. It's like milky or silky or whatever.
It felt, I did feel like it was like silk on my skin. But then I was an alien, so I don't know whether that was.
Body was okay. So you were like breathing through your skin to be able to feel like you would be like absorbing the oxygen through the air. So in other words, you wasn't like a person. You weren't in like the atmosphere. The alien would be more of a port.
I keep breaking up, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm catching only snippets of the conversation. Sorry, doll. Was I breathing through my skin? I don't recall breathing at all. I wasn't there long enough to take a walk and check the place out. I was like, I'm an alien. I'm out. Pretty much. You know?
Yeah. That is one point, though. So next time we do a session, there will be one.
That wasn't even.
Sorry. I was
Sorry.
going to say that'd be a good point to look into next time we're in as well, of like, how are you breathing? What are you like? What can you feel through your skin, and what can you smell? Just to see what other senses we can get. Because sometimes things will come through, other times things won't necessarily come through. So it'll be interesting to see how you are breathing.
Yeah, because I've been underwater. I've heard whales welcome me underwater, and I've heard the whales calling.
I actually did that the other day. Like, I woke up and I was about to, like, I was right on the cusp of sleep, and I was like, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, maybe it's something paranormal, because I say that when something weird happens. But I was like, no, like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was weird. I just tried to go back to sleep, and it's like, I don't know, but whale sounds are kind of like that, like, but it was like a more harmonic, like kind of like an operatic sort of thing. I don't know. I was just like,
what are you doing?
What the fuck was that? I was like
Nemo.
I cut myself off. I was like, what the fuck was that? That was weird. Go ahead, Richie. Sorry.
It's actually a really good question, because I'm kind of like, maybe
I think
wonder
we're
if
all like there. Like, we've been in these really deep realms of what the fuck. Like, we don't even know what the fuck is going on. It's like the new world realm, and then all of a sudden we're like dee-doo, 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 or whatever operatic tone we choose to use. I just was there to hear it, and then my husband heard it too, because it was out loud. It was just not in my head, and I was like, holy shit, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah, I heard that. Must be something paranormal, because that's the term I usually use. But yeah, I don't think it was. I think it was just like I was just about into that realm, and so I don't know, that realm was kind of breaking through, so I just sang it out. I don't know, it was super, super strange. I felt really weird at that point. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me?
What is right?
What is wrong? I don't think there is an in between these days.
Do we like unfold that list? Roll it out like a scroll.
Wait, it's really long.
Have anybody heard anything that is attached to the color orange?
When I think of orange, I think of trees or other things, because I think they have an aura, but they're not getting as much water as they used to. But now I think they're going to be like, okay, that's enough. You know?
Orange.
It's like, I'm happy, but kind of different. But yeah, it's going to be more than that pretty soon. What do you think, Jani?
Orange. I'm trying to. You did say orange, didn't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you didn't call me banana?
I don't know, Richie. Did anything in them come up orange?
No. The only thing that's really come through was that first time that when we're looking on the floor and you thought you were at like a alien airport, for like a better term, and there was all those colors on the floor, but I don't think there was necessarily an orange. I know like the khaki color and the off-white material wise, that's been a thing, and like your dark brown leather, that's definitely been a thing. Purples come up, your reds, your blues,
aqua.
Well, maybe your next one. Maybe that's.
Well, I was seeing, as far as me with auras and the past, I think it's the trees and the grass, and it's generally yellow, and then there's an orange on top. And I think it's because of the heat and dehydration and whatnot. So yeah, it's orange and yellow, and then yeah, so yellow and orange going from the precipice, but.
That can be
right now it's different because everything is about to change because of all the the rivers, the humidity, the Arctic, all this other stuff that's coming through, a lot of stuff is about to change.
Mm.
And it's crazy because Robert's all the way up there in Australia, and Australia is an offshoot of the South Pole. Something like you're basically like, it's like you just went bleep off of that continent, and is it
So-
going to remain?
Whereabouts in Australia are you, Rob?
Robert?
Central Queensland, Rockhampton.
Oh, yeah. I'm Gold Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're just down the road.
Pretty much.
I knew that.
Angela,
Yeah.
what's your take on channeling as opposed to teleporting, as opposed to astral traveling, as opposed to remote viewing? With what I'm doing, do you think that I am astral traveling? Do you think I'm teleporting? Or do you think I'm, what was the other one? Channeling.
Remote viewing.
Okay. I've astroplaned. I've done everything that you've just said. So with
Is somebody typing right now? Because if
Yeah.
you are, please stop. Or
I hear-
mute your mic. Sorry, Angela. Continue.
where I can remote view. I can do that. Robert knows that. He and I's had a lot of experiences. I can remote view. I've literally levitated off of the floor, up. But I think you're doing a double because you're seeing within the body that you described. You were the
Out.
looking out and seeing what you were in, and that was
I don't know.
your hypnosis. Is that correct?
Holy shit, it just
For some
sounds like
reason-
somebody's typing the whole time.
Okay,
Down.
again, I've got
Yeah,
that.
I hear the tapping thing too.
No, definitely not me.
I'm not.
Okay,
It's not,
it stopped.
it's not me, but I can't. Yeah, it's really annoying. Bless you.
Now.
No, thank you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Quit typing. Quit tapping or mute yourself.
Somebody is.
Someone.
Is somebody
Okay,
taking?
but what was your answer, Angela? Sorry, because I'm.
Was you under hypnosis when you were doing the alien?
When I became the alien,
Yeah.
I wasn't under hypnosis. It was like I like right now to you, a vision. I tuned into the ear ringing. I tuned into my ear ringing, and that's when I was presented to that Egyptian lady, the one that I'd seen through my first hypnosis session. But I was like, it's just like me talking to you now. Richie and I were doing the Toth tablets, and I got the ear ringing in my ear after I'd drawn and showed him one of my symbols that I had dreamt about 3 years before, and I drew it out in front of me to him to show him what it looked like, and then my ear started to ring. So the ear started to ring, the volume just turned up. I always get ringing in my ears, but this one was really loud, and the frequency changed. And he goes, "Why don't you just drop into it?" And that's when I went and I dropped into it and had been presented to the alien again. And I grew then. That's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like I just grew, and I grew tall. And I grew to like about 25. My eyes were at about 23 feet high, but my head reached to like 25.
Wow.
I was 25 feet tall.
That sounds more of a download.
Yeah.
Like you were being downloaded this.
I dropped straight into vision as we do.
Mhm.
Dropped straight into the vision, seen, and was like, I was there. I was on another planet. I had been, you know, I was one of the aliens. And I remember when he came over to me and he was almost like put his hand on my shoulder. And that was when I was on the other planet. He put his hand on my shoulder and he's like, welcome back, brother. Or just welcome back. It was something like that, but it gave me the feel of welcome back, brother. And I could hear what they were thinking. Like I've got telepathic skills. And I thought to myself straight away, like, I'm 46 years old. I haven't been gone for 2 weeks or like 10 days. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, and I thought then and there, nah, this is too weird. This is too weird. And like when I looked down and seen my body, I was like a pale blue, but I had brown spots on me, like they were freckles or markings. You know, they're just little tiny, but they weren't like circular. They looked like a mold. You know, like when mold grows in a circular shape and it kind of is off, right? And it almost like had little, yeah, just or like ice. You know, ice when it spreads and it gets that little like leaf-looking thing or petal-looking thing.
You're
Yeah, it
talking
was sort of like, but
organic.
it was like a freckle for us, because I noticed that on their bodies as well. It was like that was their. They weren't in the same spot as mine. They were like a freckle marking, like a birthmark or something. But it wasn't a birthmark, obviously. It was just that's what our skin was like.
But
and that's when I pulled out.
But when you said "welcome, brother," did it feel like a camaraderie or that you were male?
That we were mates, like we were friends. Like we knew who we.
How you were looking at his brother as a camaraderie person, not that he was giving you a
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.